and welcome to episode 106 of Zapped to the Past. I am Adrian Mills, and I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Graham Raddings. If you haven't listened before, this is a podcast where we discuss games that were released for the Commodore 64. We are using the magazine Zapped 64 as a monthly guide for the games to focus on, but we are in no way affiliated with Zapped 64 itself. This week, we start our look at December 1988 and the first batch of games reviewed in issue 44 of Zapped 64, along with what was also lighting up our TV screens that month. So Graham, tell us of the first batch of games that we could have found under the Christmas tree.
In this fun-packed day trip to the freezing cold seaside of an episode, we deftly manoeuvre around a series of tile-based explosive-strewn platforms looking to defuse the situation in the clever Bombuzal, try and switch on the power to a geometric building with bouncing balls and trampolines in the confusing power pyramids, and attempt to navigate the pixel-perfect pipelines of an oil platform with a new military tank in Scorpion. Have you ever tried eating an ice cream in 60-mile-an-hour winds and a torrential rainstorm? That is how we roll in Cleethorpes. After that, we once again get our puzzle-solving brains into gear in the good-looking but under-described Pulse Warrior, set about raising some money for a worthy cause with a troubled dull runabout in The Race Against Time, once again head into the multi-event world of the Olympics with the guided hand of epics in their dull final sports hurrah, the game's summer edition, before finally ripping off some cloth, wrapping it around our heads, and popping on a couple of bullet belts as we blast up the enemy camps in the very shooty Purple Heart. A gold medal shining bright. Unfortunately, it wasn't shining for any sports games in this episode. Blessed are the bomb diffusers and puzzle makers, it seems.
Jingle bells. Jingle bells.
Some of them, yes, some of them tightly wrapped.
And hopefully never unwrapped.
Yeah, too much sellotape on some of them, I hope.
It won't open. You want a knife? No.
No. I'll save that one for later. I'll open it later.
How do you know what's in it? I can smell that one.
I know the smell of a dog egg.
That smells like a pyramid of power to me. But what do I know? It is the last. This is it. This is the last. Well, it's a 4-episode month because there's 28 games to get through. So we'll split it over 4. So seven games, as you've just heard. It is the first of the month, though. So Graham, we must look at the cover.
Yes, we must do that actually, and it's a Christmassy one, isn't it? Or is it?
Well, it's what's this? An Apache helicopter. Nothing says Christmas like a US gunship about to wage war and death on people.
Yeah, it's got Father Christmas and his sleigh going over the moon in the background. I think they put that in because they thought it's not really Christmassy, is it?
It's a bit of a. Has anyone got? Yeah, it's a bit of a cutout in it from a decoration that. Just put
that
it
is
over
total
the top.
clip art. That is clip art that someone threw in last minute. That like, oh god, this looks like a wall cover. There's no Christmas stuff. It's got the word Christmas on it, but
yeah,
oh my gosh,
228-page Christmas special. But even that's not particularly Christmassy, is it?
No, and also, what happened to that writing? What happened? Someone went mad with the font distortion tool, and it's just don't do that. Never do that. Never do that.
No. And the outline of that thing reminds me of some like kind of wafy sort of ghost or something.
What's it meant to be?
I don't
Why is
know.
it written that way? Why isn't it written in a bauble or something Christmassy? Why is it in what I guess is meant to be a flame?
I don't know. Why is 228
strange.
pages a different font to the Christmas special?
Don't even... I spotted that and I was trying not to see it.
It's hard not to spot it.
It's too many typefaces. Too many.
There's a lot of text on this cover as well, isn't there? A lot of text.
Don't.
Too much text, I might say.
They're getting worse. They are getting worse. The covers are getting worse. And it's not on account of the art that's on them. I said last week that the typographic nature of these is getting crazy, and the stuff they're writing is garbage. It's utter garbage.
And also as well, did we had a mega tape last week, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Last month. At the top it says, strike a light, a cassette. It must be Christmas and no mistake. Well, was it Christmas last month?
They've had it and the month before.
I know. What's going on here?
It's been a mega tape for the last 2 months. This is nothing new. And
no.
Anyway,
No,
it's just, you know what? I don't like it. I don't like the way they've done the Thunderblade, and then it just says a playable demo of Thunderblade. Great. Bombuzal. Nebulous. And was that 50 or 60 games reviewed?
Over 60, yeah. But half them out for the Commodore 64 now. And a lot of them.
And look how much text is around. Are you right? Look how much. I mean, they've got bullet points on the cover. You spend half your educating life telling people not to use bullet points. That's absolutely necessary. Bullet points. Right there.
Bullet points. 50 stockings full of goodies. A rough and tough. You don't need to tell us what you can win. Just say there's loads of prizes. Just put win over £200,000 of prizes.
That's a year's supply of Chewits.
Yes.
That's got to be the stupidest prize, although probably quite nice and tasty, because I remember Chewits being quite nice. But a year's supply is a lot. That's a lot of Chewits.
I mean, how much Chewits could you reckon you could get through? I mean, I could get through about 3 or 4 packs a day.
I'm telling you, I'd have put that to the bloody challenge. They'd have been like, oh, for God's sake, why did we say that?
It's a remorseless eating machine.
Yes, that would have been... I did like Chewits. It's the one with the little dinosaur, wasn't it? And
I mean, I'd have just actually given up on more sweatpants, except, the crotch wears out too easily.
Have you seen that the overuse of the word loadser? No, don't use that word.
No, we're full in loads of money territory though, aren't we, at the moment?
Yeah, but even so, just don't. I guess don't try and get yourself. No, I don't like it. The helicopter that's been drawn, obviously by Mr. Frey, I'm guessing. That's excellent. Yeah. Everything else, clip art on top of a bad moon, usual blurry background. It's just this. It feels to me like the Oliver Frey art of yesteryear, pre-Zap, early Zap, other Zap, is gradually being pushed into the corner, the top right-hand corner of every issue. Yeah,
it really is. Also, as well, it just says at the bottom, tons of RPGs and blister packs. Who wants loads of blister packs?
What's
the bane of everyone's life.
Blister pack? What's a blister pack?
And the ones you can't open, and it says, and then if you break them open, you can't return it. Yeah, aren't they blister packs?
That's a blister pack, I think. Yeah, not good.
I don't know. Maybe I got that wrong, but it's those things you need scissors to open, and then they just slice your hands to ribbons.
It doesn't shout anything great about anything. That and it used to be that you'd have the big game, and that'd have the cover material. I know it's Thunderblade, but that's not shouting Thunderblade at me or Christmas or anything like it. There's that fundamental change in everything. It's really starting to. Well, I've noticed it more as it's creeped in, and we've mentioned it in the last couple of episodes now. But as it's creeping in, I've noticed it more and more. And this particular issue of Zap, I think, is some of the worst editorial content in the reviews I've read in any of the Zaps. Because some of the reviews of the games, aside from the comments from the people who review them, they're absolute utter gibberish.
I noticed that as well with some of them as well.
I was like, what are you on about? Shut up and tell me about the game and how it works, you stupid thing. Because how am I supposed to know?
Yeah, that is true. I read some of them and was like, this tells me nothing. But there we go.
Very frustrating. And if you've changed the shape of Zap in the actual logo, you are doing yourself a mischief. It's not good, is it? Anyway.
Yeah, they have slightly. They've angled it more towards us. If you compare it to previous issues, it's angled.
So much text on that page. It's embarrassing.
It's a lot. I mean, I don't know what other magazines were like at this point. Probably just loads as well, but it's probably just the era of the typographical nightmares.
The only magazines that have covers like that are magazines like Burst or Fragrant or stupid one-word persons magazines. No, the situation magazines. I don't know what we call them.
Hello, Bella, and
all that lot. They look like that, where they've got a picture of a 3-fingered monkey chucking a bat at a cat or something. And
my husband turned to concrete, but I still love him.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. My fingernails are glow sticks and it's Ace, that kind of thing. Exactly. In fact, a friend of mine, other friend of the podcast, Paddy, and I once created 2 covers. A little thing for our patrons. I'll find them because I've got them somewhere. I'll stick them in the Patreon, in our Discord.
Now, if that doesn't get you to sign up, I don't know what will.
Exactly. Does it get more exciting than that? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Anyway, there we go. We are into the last month. We've got 4 episodes for this to come up. And then, obviously, we've got the madness that will be the Breadbin Awards for 1988.
Hey.
That'll be an interesting episode.
Oh, I'm sort of looking forward to it, and I'm sort of dreading it.
No, it's going to be a bit crazy. Anyway, should we get on with some games? Now we've done the cover.
Let's do it.
We've done our cover duty. Let's get on with some games. And Graham, it's over to you for... Is it Bombuzal or Bombuzal? You decide.
Bombuzal.
You decide and tell us all about Bombuzal.
I should tell you all about Bombuzal, I'm guessing. Bombuzal, it isn't. It's B-O whatever, Bombuzal. Bombuzal, yay. Gold medal. Gold medal. Is that the first gold medal of the new review team? Or is that the second gold medal?
No, Armalite got one.
Was it the same team, though? Or was it?
Yeah, except it was last month.
They seem to be changing their teams a lot, don't they?
It was definitely Armalite was definitely them
for this week.
Last month.
Anyway, so 97%. That's a whopper. Wow. Publisher here is Mirrorsoft. Mr. fell off a boat, Mirrorsoft. Developer was Imageworks, coded by Tony Crowther and David Bishop. Bishop and Crowther, Tony and Bish, Bish and Bosh, Bish and Bash, Bosh and Bish. Tony and Kravitz. It's Tony and Dave, man. It's Dave and Tony. Oh, Tony, where's Dave? It's them two.
Bash Bosh.
Bish Bash. Oh, why didn't they do
Bish
that?
Bash Bombuzal.
And the musician here is Anthony Crowther.
Ainsley Jarvis.
Ainsley Jarvis. Something troubling you, Ainsley. So this is a nice puzzle game from the old Big TC. What did I put? What did I mean by TC? Why did I put Big TC when I've written that? What does that even mean? Tony Crowther.
Tony Crowther, I'm guessing.
Why did I don't know. I've looked at Anthony Crowther on my sheet and gone, what does TC mean? I've just gone through a bit of a phase, I think. Bright and bold loading screen, this. Very nice. Takes you to a nice title screen as well, with the score and the UI kind of graphics positioned at the top. I think they're always there, aren't they, in this?
Mm-hmm.
So in the game, a nice fizzy animated logo below, which has got like a nice sort of fizzy, bubbly, filling up type effect. Quite nice, that. Mini guide to the tiles underneath, and I'll come to all of what this is. And sort of, you'll notice that you can play this in 2 and 3D. It's a puzzler, a nice puzzle game that can be played in both isometric and orthographic traditions. Exciting, isn't it? According to the blurb, I won't go through the whole blurb, but according to the little blurb, it says in the blurb, the whole reason for your existence is to blow up bombs. Each level must be cleared within a time limit by destroying all the bombs and mines on it. Naturally, you must ensure that you don't blow yourself up or fall off the tiles that make up the levels. On some levels, there are beasties who will get in your way and attempt to kill you, but there are also helpers who will blow up bombs on your behalf. So it's actually a fairly straightforward notion in this game, and I quite like it for that. So the aim of the game is very simple, in fact. You're presented with a grid of tiles, and I'll come to the views and all the perspectives and all that stuff in a bit, but we'll just get to the crux of this. So you presented with a grid of tiles. Some of the tiles have special properties, which I'll come to in a little while. Some of the tiles will be empty, and some of them will have varying kinds of bombs on them. You must get rid of those bombs on the level before the timer runs out. To do this, you can carry a load of you actually carry a load of bombs with you, and you can step from tile to tile. Holding the mouse button down will leave a little countdown. You can plant a bomb. After doing this, you will need to quickly move so it can detonate and destroy the tile and or bomb. If a bomb is near enough to another one, you can trigger a series of detonations. If you're in the way, the bomb will blow up and destroy you and the tile underneath you, resulting in a loss of one of your 5 lives. Once you clear all the bombs, you will gather up some points for any remaining tiles, and then it's on to the next level. The levels get more difficult as new items are introduced. There are a range of different tiles that all work in different ways. So, for example, you're going to have got normal tiles, which are normally completely destroyed by any explosions. You've got slotted tiles. They're completely destroyed by explosions, but bombs that are on these tiles can be moved. You've got riveted tiles, which will not be destroyed by explosions. You've got dissolving ones that will just disappear as soon as you step on and step off them. And there's ice, which you can't stop on because it skids you off. So you've got to be careful on there. So there's sort of the working parameters of the game. And these are actually explained on the title screen in a really nice way as well. So there's sort of the graphic view of them. They're in instructions, but it doesn't get more complicated with the tiles than any of that. So all pretty good. And also, of course, there's other types of bombs as well. So not just to be content with having different tiles on there, you've got different kinds of bombs or mines. So you have small ones, which now the bombs in the varying size, it's really kind of changes the detonation arc or the detonation radius of the bomb. So a small bomb has a sort of an explosion of one tile. Medium ones have an explosion radius of, I think, 4 tiles in a sort of square around them. And then obviously a large bomb, even more tiles. And of course, if there's any bombs in any of those tiles, then they're going to blow up as well. And then that radius is extended. And you could very quickly blow up everything on the entire screen with one bomb if you don't know what you're doing. There's also what they call swell bombs, although I never got into the levels far enough to be able to come across any of those, where they vary in size. So they go from small to large. And there's also A-bombs, which is when they detonate on level, it will be apparently set off automatically. Again, these are in the depths of the game. I never got that far into it, although it is quite an engaging experience. How exciting is that? Tiles and bombs all over the place they are. If you choose the orthographic view, which was my first stopping point here, or 2D, you'll play from a top-down view with compass-type controls with a joystick and fire button to grab, deploy bombs. If you choose the 3D view, the isometric view, you control the movements isometrically. So up is left, down is right is up, and left is down. Confused? You will be.
Yes, I was. I played 2D.
Your brain. Yeah, I did, because after a while I started getting angry with myself.
Yeah, I did. I didn't mean to walk off.
Yeah, exactly. And Fire does the same thing in those. It's a lot more difficult playing in that view, of course, but it does give it a completely different dynamic of play, and it's quite nice. If you run out of time, blow yourself up, or you fall off a tile in some way, you lose a life. When you lose all 5 lives, it's game over. A nice touch here is that you can continue where you were. And you're also given a code to continue as well, which is quite nice as you progress further and further. As you play through the levels, you can bring up a map by pressing the spacebar, which is handy on the later levels for planning. So you can see the routes you need to take, but beware, this is a puzzle game, and so nothing is straightforward. The graphics here are very good, very nicely designed sprites in 2D or 3D. The better looking in 3D, very big and bold, move around really fast. Both look really good. The 3D view is, as I say, nice and fast. The top-down view is easier on the brain and controls sort of better and more equally, but they're both equally good to play in their own different way. I think just one is just a bit more easy on the brain, on the eye, especially when you're older. I don't know, I just found my isometric computation skills were sadly lacking on this game, and I found myself getting really confused and angry. So I'm not sure what it says about me, really. Oh, that's a nice bug-free polish. Very, very well put together, this. Tony Crowther on form, as always. And nicely and easy to control in that the controls, once you learn them, aside from the angular pain, they are what they are. So you are, and it reminded me of a few other things. The escalating puzzle premise is nice, because obviously as you progress through the levels, they get bigger and more difficult. And there are, I think, 160 levels or something. There's well over 100 levels to go at. So you're going to be playing this for a while. The audio is all okay. It's not going to be anyone's top SID list, but it's perfectly fine for what it is. And the game sounds are all very nice as well. No one's going to get offended by the sounds, and it all works in the context of it. There's even some nice little speech samples in there too. All good. I found this to be a really decent puzzle game with a really nice in. And I like games that are like that. This didn't have all of the silly controls. And we've played a lot of games with silly controls, and there's a lot more in this episode as well. This had nice controls. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm telling you that the isometric controls were difficult. That doesn't mean that they were stupid. They were good for isometric controls. It's not good for a 50-year-old isometric brain that couldn't work out why up was down or whatever. I kept getting it wrong. But that's just me. The actual look and feeling of those levels is really, really good. It's got a nice player arc to it, so you can start to get to grips and enjoy it. And then the puzzles and the tiles and the different kinds of bombs and the enemies and the things that are in there, because there's a whole lot of other stuff as well here. So it's not just about those things, but even there's sort of templates for when bombs explode, and there's teleporters and spinners and switches. And as you progress through the game, as you can imagine in a game like this, it starts to amplify and build into all the complexity. So you have to really start to think about how it's going to work and how you're going to get to those bombs. And you'll find yourself sometimes walking around, and then you'll see that there's one single little bomb in the corner. And you think, why is that there? Oh, so you think, right. I mean, and the good thing about this, it's got a nice, I felt it had a nice end level start again. It's quite, and I mean is it's fast. So there's not some kind of annoying sequence that happens and then don't do any of that. It's like in game, so go. It's like go. It's really prescient. It's really fast. And I really liked it for that, because I was restarting this quite a lot because of that isometric view. So I think this is one of the great C64 little puzzle games, isn't it? It's really nice and unusual. I think Tony Crowther must have taken some kind of calming tablets or something, because he used to do these games that were rock hard and insanely hard. This one isn't hard. It's difficult and challenging, but there's an arc to it. You can get better at it. There's something here for a bit of everyone. This for puzzle mappers. People are going to like that. Weirdly, this reminded me of Rock and Bolt in quite a lot of ways, especially the isometric view where you've got to run around and sort of position platforms. So there's a look and feel of Rock and Bolt. Not the same game. I think it's just because it's isometric and you sort of walk around having to do stuff on platforms. But that ain't a bad thing. This is a good old-fashioned puzzle game, nice to play. I've never played it to any great degree before, ever. There's loads of this kind of thing on mobile games, on mobile now, and there's tons of games like this on mobile. So I think, obviously, at the time, it's quite refreshing. Came out of nowhere for me, this, but a really, really great game. And even more proof, if some of these other games aren't, with the refined process as it goes on, it's just another reminder that there's still a lot of arcade life in the C64 at this time. It was still there. You could still make really great single-screen, puzzle-based games like this. I really enjoyed Bombuzal. Nice, refreshing change from some of the games we've had to play. Did you enjoy it?
I certainly did. Yeah, I remember playing this. This is one of the few games I remember playing back then, because I think single load got a gold medal. I was still looking at Zapped at this point, and I think I managed to get hold of this. Either I bought it or I got it from whether J&M was still a going concern by this point, or I got it off Gary or something like that.
It depends on how that teabag mountain got in that shop. Remember, he had a mountain of teabags in the corner. Yeah, he had a sign saying. It said they had a sign in front of that saying, with a little, like a pan or a little cup thing that said Save the Shop Fund. And behind that was a mountain of tea bags, used tea bags. Mountain.
Just empty it. Put it in a bin. That's probably why they got shut down. It was a tea hazard.
Teabag hazard.
But yeah, so I remember really liking this back then because it's that kind of game. And I obviously didn't appreciate why I liked it, but I can appreciate that a bit more now. And to be fair, Rat and Bish, or, Dave Bishop and Anthony Crowther worked together previously on Fernandez Must Die.
Yeah, I can tell.
So, these two have come together. It's the only two games they made together, and they're both excellent. Both taking a genre and doing something different with them. So, they've taken to the puzzle genre and they're produced another, what is a great game. This is a really great game. It's fun and it's infuriating in equal parts. Exactly what you want from a puzzle game. You want that moment of eureka. If I put it there, yay. And this has a really great sort of cathartic knock-on effect of watching your plan come to fruition. There's a really good, or also watching your carefully laid plan just go up in load of bombs and smoke, and you just stood there on a pump. I go, no, clearly it's not going to work. Why did they do that? So it's very clever. It's a simple premise: clear the screen of all bombs. But it does soon become a real test to work out the patterns of explosions. That one where it's all ice and you've got to go all the way around them to start at the back and then work your way back. It's easy, but the first time I did it forwards, thinking that the explosion would, when I moved off, the explosion would stop me on the ice, but it didn't. Yeah. I went, I've got to do it backwards, Anna. Of course I have. And then went all the way back and then did it. So it's not hard. It's just that moment of going, yeah, okay, all right, okay. I know the rules. I thought I could break them, but clearly I can't. Fair enough. No. So there's loads of good stuff in this. And when you factor in the fact that you've got different types of bombs, you move them about the tracks, and sometimes like, where do I move that? Which end of the track do I need to put that one to detonate? And which bomb do I detonate? And where do I stand after it all? Yeah, it's really good. And, I just really like this. And I always have. I thought it's a really good game. Trying to work out the optimal path through a level, or even any path, it gets the brain working. Yeah,
it gets really tricky.
Like you, I preferred it in 2D. I couldn't get my head around the 3D controls. I think up should be top right. That's just the way.
That's what I was doing. I think that's what I was trying to do, and it kept going wrong.
Up top left doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work. So when I was igniting a bomb and then pushing down or right, because I thought it was down or whatever, and it would go bottom right. I was like, no, that's not down. So I don't know, because I think it's down, isn't it? Because we normally play isometric, going bottom left to top right. So that's up. We're going forward. Yeah. It feels wrong. It feels a bit wrong. But anyway, it doesn't matter because you can play it in 2D. And because you can play it in 2D, it automatically becomes completely playable. And that's a really clever touch. I don't think I would have liked this as much if it didn't have that, but it does. So it makes up for it completely because it's exactly the same game, just from a different viewpoint. So, certainly up there with the best puzzle games on the machine. And probably worthy of its gold medal because it's a really, really clever idea, done really, really well. Ace presentation, good music, good graphics, nice password system. I don't know what else you could really do to it. Loads and loads of levels.
Graphics, aren't there?
Yeah, I really liked it. I really liked Bombuzal.
It is good.
But Bombuzal. I say Bombuzal because I've seen descriptions that some people do call it that because it's got a split on the title screen. But I think it should be Bombuzal, isn't it? Because that's the word, isn't it? To be bamboozled or bamboozled. I'm surprised that a version of this hasn't made it into some kind of Mario minigame variant because it's very Mario feeling, isn't it? I'm pretty sure there's probably something like this in one of the Mario parties or something with bombs exploding and stuff.
Toadie in it or something.
Yeah, probably. But as you say, I was thinking the same thing while I was playing this, what you said as well, that this is a mobile fodder. Drag that bomb where you want, you move your thing, you tap the screen, which one you want to set off. But really, really good game, Bombuzal. Yes, good start. Good start to the month. Long may it continue.
A gold medal start. It's good.
A gold medal start to the month. Yeah, long may it continue. Let's go on to our next one. Every week. No, I'm going to rearrange them next week to put the best one second. I don't know why. It's just you fall into that trap, don't you? We start off strong and then just
we have to. It's contrast and compare.
It's all downhill. Anyway, this is Power Pyramids. This is £9.95. Another puzzle game, isn't it? I always like a good puzzle game, as we've just found out. And when I saw the Power Pyramids was an action puzzler, I thought that maybe Zapped had got this all wrong with their 18% review. And went into this with high hopes. We've got high hopes.
Apple pie in the sky hopes.
Yeah. So this is from Quicksilver, full price of $9.95. Said it was coded by Eclipse, whoever they are.
Total Eclipse.
Yeah, who knows? It's got music by Andy Brown, and according to the title screen, graphics by Poser Inc. None of this bodes well. The story, as it goes, the story to this. Did you read the story to this?
No, I did not bother.
All right, well, sit down. Because there's more stories to this than you think. The story as it goes, involves transporting pyramids across space.
I didn't get that from the game, strangely.
hang on. You see, the planet Typige, I think it's T-Pyge, Typige. I don't know how you pronounce it, Typige, had a bit of a monopoly on pyramid construction long ago and sold them to all the planets across the galaxy. They were selling pyramids like it was going out of business. Not wanting to miss out on a bit of pyramid action, the Egyptians ordered 4 of them in basic, super, grand, and royale models.
They're like caravans.
Yeah, I don't exactly. The Speedster, the Hulkster.
The Royale.
Absolutely. That's what they call it in France anyway. Now, the Typigians realised that transporting the pyramids across space with all the power switched on was far too much to pay. It's just a waste of money. So it was way too much in delivery costs. So they turned the pyramids off until they turned the pyramids power off to the pyramids off until they reached their destination. Whereupon it was the job of the delivery driver of turning them back on again. For what reason they were being turned on? What power? I don't know.
Why do they need power?
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Hence the name Power Pyramids.
That's why.
Yes. So this is a game about transporting pyramids across the galaxy, sort of thing, and then turning the power back onto them because you're a delivery driver. You're a glorified galaxy DHL driver. That's what you are.
It's not quite what I got from it, but okay.
Well, I'm not making any of that up. You can go read the manual.
No,
all in there.
Totally, absolutely believe it.
Yeah, so yes, your job is to power up the pyramids in a flick screen puzzler type thing. So when the game loads, we have an irritating tune playing, very irritating, and the option of playing through either of the 4 pyramids with the press of the F key. So F1 is the basic, F3 is the super, F5 is the grand, and F7 is the royale with cheese. Pressing fire gets you into the game, and you control a constantly moving ball that rolls in one direction until it hits something and then reverses direction. Kind of like a lemming, I guess.
Fast-moving ball-shaped lemming.
Yeah, it's much faster. Anyway, the screen is split. Top 3/4 showing the present room you're in from side on. It's a 2D side on view. And the bottom showing a confusing UI with a number of bars and numbers. I had very little understanding of what meant what. One bar represents the speed the ball will move at. One of the numbers is the lives left. But beyond that, I don't really have a clue. As nothing is really explained in this, and the instructions I could find didn't really help either. Nothing was explained in them, so I had no idea what anything meant. So the ball moves constantly. The only control you have is pressing fire to make the ball jump. If you press fire, the ball will jump. Okay. If you move the joystick, it makes certain things on the screen work. For example, there are launch pads that will fire the ball upwards if you move the joystick while the ball is rolling over them. Or there are platforms that can be rotated to allow the ball to move up or down a level. There are also, I'm going to say, generators that you can roll into, which make one of the counters go up, so you can change the speed of the ball. And there are switches which turn things on should you roll over them, allowing you to bypass hazards a little easier. There's like swords and stuff, along with teleporters that take you to different parts of the level. So the object is to turn on the power points on each level of the pyramid to complete it, and then move on to the next, more trickier one. The first pyramid only has 14 screens to navigate, and the last one has 54. And that's about it, really. And the main issue here, as rightly pointed out by Zapped, is that the control system is annoying and frustrating. So puzzle games live or die on the ability for the player to read the screen, the puzzle in front of them, and act accordingly to solve it. We've just seen this in Bombuzal. You play it from the top, you can immediately see what you've got to do, and you can try and figure it. Okay. Because this game gives you no time to figure out which way to go, because your ball's constantly moving, what to do, and there's very little guidance in how to complete your mission. There's a load of stuff around the level, bouncing into anything. So if you bounce into a wall, if you bounce into a sword, you lose a power point, you lose all your power points, you lose a life, you lose all your lives, and they'll go in thinking, because you can just end up bouncing around all over the place. It's just an annoyance. Frustration and annoyance will creep in very quickly. It's not helped by an annoying tune that constantly plays, and the less than responsive controls. Flinging your ball into a teleporter doesn't help, as you have no real way of knowing where to go, so there's no map or anything, or even what to do half the time. And I spent most of this just bouncing off things and losing energy. When coupled with the story, this is a stupid idea for a game. What advanced civilization would leave the turning on of their mega pyramids to control of a ball rolling about? What? They've got the technology to transport huge pyramids across space, and to get to the other side, there's no who would buy them? When every time they turned up, the delivery driver had to do one of these tilty ball type puzzles in order to turn them on. These are premium real estate going around the galaxy. Word would spread. Well, we got one. We can't turn the damn thing on. Every time we do, the ball dies, and then it's game over, and then we ain't got another one. So we've got this pyramid, which is just there now. It's not turned on. Why is there not just an on switch? Plug Plug it in.
Yeah, fundamental design flaw here.
Even if it goes like to somewhere where it's like in Europe, where you've got to have a switch, a thingy, an adapter. I'm sure they could have built one. They can build these pyramids. They could, universal adapter. Stupid. When you give a game like this that backstory, you invite these questions. That's what I thought. And so none of it makes any sense. The game's no fun. This is just annoying and frustrating. I didn't like this. It was stupid. It's a stupid idea. It's an overwrought nonsense. We didn't like the bloody crap vote, which we looked at a while back ago. No. 80%, yeah, fair enough. It's crap. What did you think?
God, this thing, honestly. I mean, this was a crap vert, wasn't it? That we looked at some time ago.
A while back.
So this is the crap vert made flesh. And it's as crap as I thought it would be. I mean, well, I suppose you could argue there's some nicely drawn graphics on some of the screens. It was essentially an unplayable mess. I tried to get to grips with it. I really tried, and I just ended up with a ball bouncing around, trying to get it where I wanted, and that just didn't happen, no matter what I did.
No.
It just seemed to ping around and bounce around with no rhyme or reason. I think this has the fastest game start frustration ratio any game I've played in a while.
And we played last V8.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was like, I was trying to do it. I'm like, wait, why? I just didn't really get it. And, like you said, the instructions, it doesn't help you. I can see there's an idea made into something here, but a key concept for any game, of any type of game, is that it has to be controllable, and those controls need to be enabling. So you need to be able to do the thing that the game is asking you to do with the controls. And I get it, the ball's moving, you bounce and everything, but no. And these ball bounce games, I mean, nobody likes them particularly. I mean, Call of Duty 2, and he just got away with it.
Yeah, there was that other one we saw the other week, the Cataball, whatever it was. It was okay, but...
Yeah, that sort of had its, because they were nice, short, little punchy levels. It wasn't trying to do all this, navigate the environment and get it to bounce up. And when I kept moving the little trampoline thing, I'm like, what are you doing? It kept going off when I didn't want it to. And I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, so you just lack the ability here to greatly affect anything that means it's out of control. For the same reasons I don't like that I didn't like that uncontrollable future crown green bowling netball fusion that we played last time. I don't like this for the same reason. It just felt like something was happening and I was just being made to watch it and I wasn't really part of it. Yeah. Classic game design error, isn't it? Never assume that your audience can control it the way you can when you design it, or indeed that anyone will want to play it because of that. Yeah. Classic. I've seen that happen a few times with games where you're watching somebody playing, like, well, they're really good at it. Then they hand you the control and it's completely uncontrollable. And you're like, well, they're like, oh, can't you do it? I'm like, no.
Your control's stupid. It's not the only game we'll see with that kind of problem.
I don't know. This episode. Took the words right out of my mouth. Yes. This is kind of it's been a bit of a theme of the past episode. Anyway, so when, as I said, when you have an audience, you create this game and nobody can play it, you know what? No one's enjoying it. They don't, I didn't, you can't, we won't, no one's going to enjoy it. No. There's some okay music in there somewhere, I guess. Nice colours, I suppose, if that's, the best you can say. I'm trying to pull out nice things about it, but all for nothing if you feel like you're not controlling the very thing in the game you're meant to be in control of. And what the hell has all that got to do with pyramids?
Pyramids in space.
My last comment for this, end of line.
Yeah, it's just stupid. It reminded me as well of that other game we played a while back, that sideways scrolling breakout thing. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it though, but you know the one I mean.
The one with the way you had the little triangle thing. Remember we couldn't go bat triangle, bat ball, triangle ball triangle.
That's the one. Yeah, that thing.
Yes.
Just ideas that should never be given, gestation periods.
Yes, exactly.
You think of them and then you prototype and you go, well, that don't work.
No, exactly. Have they not seen that Alien movie where the guys made all them different alien eggs? Like, look, just don't make alien eggs, all right?
Yeah, it should be one of the Ten Commandments.
This is a wet egg of a game. So don't look over a wet egg.
Thou shalt not make scrolling ball games.
No. Bouncing game, stupid. No.
No, we didn't like Power Pyramids. It was very silly.
Didn't. No.
Let's move along. We've got one more this half, and we'll see what that's like. And Graham, this is over to you. This is Scorpion, nature's best arachnid.
Not Scorpio. We've had that the other time.
Or Scorpius.
Or Scorpius. This is Scorpion, not Scorpioff.
Scorpioff? Scorpion.
Scorpion.
I don't know what that means, Mr. Miyagi.
But I've been stung by a scorpion, Daniel-san. And I'm feeling kind of, woohoo. Anyway, this is $2.99 from Racket, which is old budget Houston, isn't it?
Yeah.
56%, created by Mark Washbrook. The title screen is Stephen Robertson. That's Sir to you and me. Legendary Sir, the man, the myth, the legend. He once punched a horse unconscious. Just one of those interesting facts that you find maybe is true or maybe
Did
not.
Did it not call him Sir?
No, you must see. That's why we do.
It is true.
Exactly. He commands the respect of all horses and other creatures of the universe, known and unknown. And of course, the musician here, he is the equine speak. I know what I'm talking about. The musician is Marcel Donnet. So Scorpion. Then there's a little blurb. It's a nice little blurb on this. Thankfully, the new Scorpion battle machine has just been designed and needs to be put to the test. It has been given the task of stopping a simulated sabotage of modern oil refinery. This is off the back of their box, not of a modern oil refinery, note. If successful, it will be included into the country's main defences. It's such a niche way of testing a tank, it seems to me, but okay. You have been given the job of getting the tank through the test by its creators. Okay, there you go.
All right.
So just as a word of the gameplay, maneuver your Scorpion tank over the pipeline network, trying to destroy the 2 bomb layers, the jelly-type alien, but you must also collect all the time bombs left on the pipes before their timers detonate. You have 60 seconds to achieve this, to complete each level. I don't know who wrote this, but their clearly train of thought was going off and the synapses were firing all over the place because they're interrupting their own sentences with bracket sentences. It's really bizarre. On later levels, the pipes open and close to hinder you even more, and as a bonus, for each bomb defused, you are given an extra 5 seconds. Right, okay. That's it. It says here, interestingly, the sound is by the Maniacs of Noise on the box. So maybe it is. Maybe, guess Marcel Donnet, I think he was part of the Maniacs of Noise. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's what it is. It is what it is. So while there is a reasonable title screen here, and a good loading screen, of course, from Sir Stephen, that's Sir to you and me, the game is a bit of a dreary old thing. On your quest for bombs, and I'm sensing a theme this episode here, you must control your ship along the pipes with pixel-perfect accuracy for turning.
Oh, sir. It's Automan. It's Automan turning.
It'll turn you into an auto-maniac. This is quickly frustrating, to say the least. Now, this is the other game, the second game we've played, which has a alarming start game to frustration ratio.
Yeah.
Now, this one got me quite angry quite quickly as well, because when I say turning with pixel accuracy, not only do you have to do accuracy, you have to do it quickly, which means that it's going to be hit and miss on this really annoying follow the ship along the pipes thing. And because it's hit and miss, it's really bloody annoying. Really annoying. You can't seem to destroy enemies. I'm not sure what I was doing. I was just kind of firing something at them and just kind of there. There. Just kind of, is it meant to blow them? What was it doing? What was it doing? It's pushing them back. What? Anyway, so I couldn't shoot the enemies. I couldn't really avoid them because it was next to impossible to navigate the maze of pipes. So I managed to get to collect a couple of the bombs, but I was quickly dead in seconds because one of the enemies came running along a pipe and I couldn't get off the pipe to get away from it, so I was killed in the game. The main game window is a text line across the top with a score, time, lives, and bombs. Under that is the bewildering game view, which is a medium-res shaded array of pipes that scroll. Admittedly, there's a nice parallax scrolling effect there to give it some depth, I guess. And the sprite design, while not fabulous, it's all right. But scrolling across the pipes and trying to make the turns quickly becomes so annoying that you'll bounce right off this quicker than a bouncing ball in a pyramid. And that's, that's quite prescient, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I bounced straight off this. The music and the interstitial sounds, etc., they're all pretty good. They're okay. Indeed, I thought there was some care in the graphics. The look of the graphics and the pipes and the shading and everything. I had a demo-y vibe about it, but it looked all right. And sort of nice colours and shading, good, quite clever use of brown, actually, shades of brown. But it worked quite well in its own way. But this is, again, another example of needing to test your games properly, because you've got to give players controls that they can actually operate the game with. I could move around the pipes as long as I was on a pipe, but as soon as I needed to go up and down or try and turn my little spaceship thing, because you control a little sprite on these pipes and the other enemies are a single sprite of size coming towards you when you collect the little blobs. But trying to navigate the pipes was so annoying in this because it was just meant I ended up getting snagged on them all the time. I couldn't quite get where I wanted to do. You got a very short amount of time to do these levels, and before long, death wasn't far behind. And then what followed shortly after that was the famous sound of me going, no, I'm switching things off. So I didn't get really very far into this because I just couldn't get to grips with the nuances of pixel perfect control that it required. I suppose it's sort of an interesting idea to road test tanks in an oil pipeline. Something tells me that's a dangerous thing to do. But anyway, all that decent production, what is probably a reasonably interesting idea, I guess, quickly becomes a forgettable snooze because you need to switch it off and go and have a snooze to rest your brain from all the frustration. It's too hard to control. I know it's £3, but It's £3 worth of time and money wasted if you can't control it and have any fun doing it. I didn't like it. So it got 56%. I think it's high for this because I don't think there's a playable game in there, or at least there's not a playable game of any fun that I had. About you?
I think I understood it a bit more because I did figure out what to do. So there's not much more to say about it. It's got a nice front end, a really great music, I thought. I really like the music on the title screen. It's a really nice piece of music. And there's, like you said, some nice parallax scrolling. But yeah, when I first played it, I beetled about a bit. I ran over some bombs, got killed, shot some things, found it tricky to navigate anything.
I couldn't get anywhere with that navigation.
Yeah, it didn't work. So nothing much happened. So then I figured out there's different types of enemies that move about, and there's these little bubbly ones, and if you shoot them, they go through a series of colours, and they're the ones that are laying the bombs. So you have to destroy them. And then I think there's 2 on the first level. Once you've destroyed them, you then just got to go around, pick up all the bombs that are left, and then you move on to the next level. That's it. So it's those enemies you've got to sort of hunt down and track down while avoiding the other ones, because if you shot only just repel the other ones. There's only one type of enemy, and that's the bomb laying bubbly type ones that you got to kill. It doesn't make it any better. Because once I figured it out, I had to go.
But is it the same in the next level as well?
It's browner.
Yeah, but is it the same thing, running around boring pipes?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. I didn't see any difference. So it's this. You played that first level, you played it. That's just what to do. It's not particularly interesting. I don't know. The death sound, and I also found the death sound effects and the music stem were really loud.
Loud and long.
Loud and long.
It was a bit too long, wasn't it?
It's £3. Maybe it should have been $1.99. 50% is 56%. It is a bit high for this because I don't think there's much of an interesting game here. The guy who did this is Mark Washbrook. He's more of a graphics artist, I think, because he did the graphics for that Battle Valley.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, but he did the graphics for that. That was coded by someone else. He also works on the graphics for Stormlord 2 as well.
Look, it had a nice production.
Yeah, nice value sort of thing, but there's not much in the way of game design here, and it's a bit repetitive, and it's a bit, it's nice graphics, nice stuff, but the game is severely lacking in any kind of thing. And as you said, it is very frustrating trying to navigate those Automan style 90-degree turns everywhere. So no, I didn't particularly like this, but it's just a bit annoying. But maybe 40% or something. I don't know, but it's not one of the worst we've seen, but it's just a bit bland and a bit frustrating.
Below average.
Yeah, just below average, yeah. There we go. Scorpion. Good, it's a good name, Scorpion. It should be attached to something better. There is but there we go. Never mind. Anyway, that's it. Only 3 games this half. Good one, bad one, average one. There we go. Can't have everything, can you? You cannot have everything. We're going to go away now, take a quick break. We're coming back, see what was going on for Christmas TV. Christmas telly. What was going on Christmas telly in the UK in 1988, December. Let's go away, take a break, and let's find out. Now, if I could just make it out past Dizzo. I don't think the cops will ever discover this contraband I'm carrying. I'm going to be rich. Wait, oh no, it's a police Viper.
Right, Cobra Mark III pilot, let's be having you. What's in the cargo hold then?
Nothing of interest, sir. Just some textiles and willow pattern plates from Lave.
Really? I see some books and audiobooks back there. David Hearn's Case of the Notorious Roboticist, Starfarers and Thanians in Space, and a copy of Back in Time for a Donut.
I was hungry.
And you've got them in audiobook form and paperback. You know books are illegal in this system. No copy of Escape from the Commodore 64, though.
Well, I could grab it next time and maybe give it to you for your trouble.
On your way then, move along and watch out for Thargoids.
Oh, that was a close one. For more details on cargo just like mine, hyperjump over to davidhearnwriter.com. Now, just a dock at that space station without a docking computer. Are you keeping up? And we're back. We're back for Christmas telly. Time to sit down, eat lots of chocolate and stuff, and get stuffed on the sofa and see what's going on. Well, before we get to Christmas, before all the Christmas stuff gets going, 1st of December, ITV's Oracle Teletext service launches Park Avenue, a teletext-based soap opera written by Robert Burns, and it runs until they lose its franchise at the end of 1992. A teletext-based soap opera. Were you aware of this?
No, not at all. I'd not heard of it. And it sort of makes sense as well, like a sort of text-based novella. I wonder if someone somewhere has got all of the text off that and written it down somewhere.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look.
Because, I mean, if it's Lost in Time, there could have been some amazingly brilliant stuff written in that nobody knows about. It's just like Lost in Time. Somebody was paid a lot, but a chunk of money for I can't imagine it. I just
Robert Burns was
just
Robbie Burns.
Keep it noise down back there. I'm trying to read me soap opera.
Mummy's reading her soaps.
What's it? Did it have any characters? Is it about anything?
I know nothing about it. I mean,
nothing. You can find nothing. I tried to find something out about it. There's not a great deal out there.
No.
They're sort of lost in time. The Oracle and the CFAX services. They're just.
It does say that readers would sometimes be invited to vote by phone to decide on story outcomes. And there's at least one competition asking readers to suggest ideas for new characters and stories for Park Avenue. Viewers were also able to purchase printouts of episodes, with 7 episodes typically costing £2.
Somebody must have them somewhere.
They must have.
Oh, I'd love to see them. I'd love to read them. But they're fascinating.
Yeah. It went to Channel 4 in 1991 and then to 6 days instead of 7.
Do you think it'd be like that soap opera that was in the Day-to-Day? The one that's set in
the Bureau.
The Bureau. I'm going to shut the Bureau for an hour.
Maria!
That's it. It's exactly what it was like, written like that.
I reckon so. But each episode would usually have 6 to 10 pages of text. It's quite a lot.
It is quite a lot.
It used to be on page 126.
Wow.
I don't know. I've never heard of this. It's very strange.
I didn't spend a lot of time on Oracle, I have to say, but...
One character decided to stop buying beef following the 1990 BSE scare, while another found himself caught up in a riot at a local prison during a time when a riot at Manchester's Strangeways prison had inspired a number of copycat riots in jails across England. Yeah.
Wow.
There we go. It remains the only soap of its kind in the United Kingdom.
Yeah. That's why I'd like to sort of see that, because those things are really unique and quirky Britain, but also very unique. That's lost in time somewhere, I fear, which is crazy.
Yeah. I just say here, for a while, many episodes appeared on the website of Paramount Comedy Channel's teletext service.
What? I didn't know they had one.
Neither did I. What's this all about?
What's going on in the world? What is this dark world? This is the dark web of TV.
You need the Tor to get onto this.
You need the Tor TV to get onto it, yeah.
It's very bizarre, isn't it? Really weird.
Yes, it is.
I'm surprised we didn't know about it, because it would have been something we probably would have loved to.
If it's too subversive for us, that tells you that it must have been well on the a lower rung of the radar.
Yeah, it must have been.
We wanted stuff down that should never be talked about, and found it.
That is true. We did. Speaking of something that should never be talked about, 3rd of December, comedian Steve Tandy wins New Faces of '88.
Oh, well done, Steve. Well done. Well done.
Has he had much of a career since then?
No idea. You can hire him for £500.
£500?
Yeah, we'll put his website in the show notes. If you fancy a decent entertainer for an evening, one of your corporate events or something like that, pop onto IMG Entertainment's website, look up Steve Tandy, we'll put the link in there. £500 is yours for the night.
If he gets any business out of us, we should get some commission.
Yeah, well, we might. We might. He'll send us a message saying, thanks for the mention, thanks for the shout out.
Yeah, it's all right, Steve. You can count on us. Just join the Patreon.
We'll look after you, mate. Yeah, just join the Patreon.
Oh, dear. 10th of December, Channel 4 airs the marathon charity rock concert, Human Rights Now.
Another one that bypassed me completely.
How many of these have there been now?
Well, it's been quite a few that we've missed. I mean, another one I missed. I mean, admittedly, Bruce Springsteen that did it, then the E Street Band, Sting, Peter Gabriel, Tracy Chapman, and Yusun Ndur.
So it's the usual culprits.
Yeah, they're not. None of them are really acts that were on my playlist at the time, should we say? So I'm not really going to be that interested. I've a feeling bits of it I've seen on TV here and there, but not at the time.
Yeah, it's a marathon charity rock concert though. Marathon. So that means it went on all day.
Better things to do in December.
10th of December, yeah. I don't know. How long did it go on for? Let me have a look. It played to a lot of people. The tour featured big concerts at big stadiums. Camp Nou, 90,000 people. Nep Stadion, 80,000. JFK Stadium, 78,000. River Plate Stadium, 75,000. And Harare, 75,000.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I really did. They played all over. It was an actual full-on tour.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Bruce Springsteen and Sting in the same trailer. How weird is that?
I hear Sting's a really good digger.
Hey, Bruce, any chance I could borrow any noodles? Get out!
No!
Get out of here. You weren't born in the USA.
No, I'm just an Englishman in New York, Bruce.
I think trying to think of some witty Peter Gabriel based pun, but there aren't any.
Do you like my haircut? No.
Get
out, Gabriel. 11th of December is the launch date of the Astra satellite, which will provide television coverage to Western Europe and is revolutionary as one of the first medium-powered satellites, allowing reception with smaller dishes than has previously been possible.
Right, a mini dish. Yeah,
as it was called, the Astra 1A. Was launched and operated by SES, Société Européenne des Satellites. I apologise for that pronunciation.
That sounds like a Vangelis album, but yeah.
Yeah. It provided television coverage to Western Europe from 1989 to 2004, when it was retired and became derelict in December 2004.
It's still up there floating around with nothing to do.
Became derelict. Among the channels carried in the early years after launch, the entire 4-channel Sky TV.
4 channels, goodness.
4 channels consist of Sky Channel, Sky News, Sky Moves and Eurosport, the Scandinavian TV3 and TV 1000, the German Pro 7, Sat1, RTL Plus, 3Sat and Teleclub, the Dutch RTL 4, as well as Filmnet, Screen Sport, MTV Europe, Children's Channel and Lifestyle. Now, who I used to babysit for had one of these. And so I was not averse to them coming home late because I would always tune it to RTL something or other at about 11 o'clock at night when it got a little blue.
It did, didn't it? That channel used to be a bit, racy, didn't it? Late
well, because it was German or Dutch or whatever it was, right. And they were not the same as what you got on British broadcasting.
No, they were not. It all got a bit bizarre and extreme at that point in time.
It really did. So I would always be listening quietly out for the key in the keyhole at the door, so to turn it back to a more British channel, shall we say. Yeah. But I had my eyes opened a few times and look at watching things on that channel. So,
what is he doing with that Schwanstucker?
Oh, right up the mini dish.
Oh, sweet mystery of life, at last I found you.
Oh dear, good old Astra 1.
Yes, bless it.
13th of December, Central is the final episode of Sons and Daughters, making it the first ITV region to complete the series. Wow. Many people had cried tears of laughter and sadness on that day, I can tell you.
They would have done, yeah. Finally, it came to an end. There was people cheering in the street. Thank God.
It's finished. It's finally finished.
Yes.
Only in Central, though. So it's just the, Leicestershire and Nottingham, I guess, and places around there. Derbyshire.
Yeah, they won the race, that's all. I mean, when these things end, do they end? Is it just like everyone in the street or whatever gets together and they go, right, see ya? How does it just end? Does people just go about the night? I don't know how they end a series. Like
that's the thing with soaps, isn't it? Because they're continuing storyline, so they just stop.
Yeah.
They just stop.
I mean, so they just stop. So in reality, what they do is you're not part of their lives anymore, so get out.
Yeah, true.
So you're actually rejected from soap operas.
Or maybe all the sons and daughters died.
Wow, okay. Well, that makes that picture of Barry Gibb that you put there all the more relevant.
Because you wrote they win. You win again.
He pops up every time you say that.
Yeah, he does. You win again.
In case he tried to get too cocky, I put a picture of Conan about to chop his head off.
It's that. He's like, we've won again. Which is what I thought that was a quote too.
Yeah, exactly, it is.
Yeah, they do win. Good old Central, they always win.
They win everything. 22nd
of December, singer Nana Cherry performs her singer Buffalo stance on Top of the Pops while 7 months pregnant, something that goes on to cause a furore in the media.
Unbelievable. I watched the entire video on Top of the Pops as well. You could barely see that she's pregnant. It's not obvious. It's not like she's she's heavily pregnant. I mean, she's 7 months, so she's pretty far gone that. But
so who cares?
She's very, exactly. She's a neat, but I don't get why it's an issue. Why can't people sing when they're pregnant? They're not allowed.
No, they're not allowed on our tellies. Pregnancy is to be hushed hush. But I mean, you give this shit. Well, this is the UK, innit? We'll complain about anything. I mean, we used to have a show hosted by Terry Wogan, wholly devoted to people writing in to complain about stuff.
Yes, that's true.
Points of view.
Points of view, yeah. People would have been, why, oh, why would a woman go on television pregnant singing? I don't understand it. Blah, 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 blah. Goodness,
pregnant women should be at home being looked after and not heard.
Yeah, she shouldn't have to be out there earning money for herself. What's she doing?
Absolutely. But anyway, there you go. Yeah. 24th of December, Christmas Eve highlights on BBC One include the network television premiere of the 1985 family film Santa Claus the Movie with Dudley Moore and the 1985 thriller, not family film, Jagged Edge with Jeff Bridges and Glenn Close.
Good job they don't show those back to back. Now, the Santa Claus the movie is actually a favourite movie of my wife. She is a huge fan of that. So we have to watch that every year. And in all fairness, over time, over the many years now, I've come to sort of understand, come to terms with having to watch it. You know, the same little bits that happen, and it's got some really naff VFX.
Every way and every day you're getting better.
Getting better and better. And, you know, it's a nice film. And what Jagged Edge isn't, it's not a nice film.
No. I think we spoke about Jagged Edge when it came out in cinema way back. Because I watched it for it.
We did, yeah. We did.
And it's not a Christmas film.
I wouldn't say it was Christmas Eve, you know, really. I mean,
no, woman gets bound and gagged and raped and murdered in a bed, as far as I can remember.
It's not shouting Merry Christmas, that, really.
It's not really. No, it's not. Not in the slightest. No. However, let's get on to Christmas Day. 25th December, the final edition of It's a Knockout to air on BBC One is another celebrity special. It's a charity knockout from Walt Disney World, featuring teams of celebrities from the UK, the US, and Australia, although the series would return to S4C in 1991.
No,
that's niche.
Never get rid of it. Every time they say it, they're like, right, this is the last one now. That's it. It's like, should we do another one? You know, because this is like the fourth time they've said it's the final. It's the absolute final
it's
one.
It's what they promise. They promise to be the last one this time. I promise the last time.
Well,
the last one do.
At the end of the very last one on S4C, there's actually a pool of lava at the end that they run into, and that's it. Right, everyone's dead. The costumes are gone. It's the end. For God's sake, move on.
Done.
No more now. It's an actual knockout.
With Frank Bruno. Also, 25th December, Ding Dong Merrily is the London's Burning Christmas special, and the only episode of the series to have a title. It on ITV as part of its Christmas Day lineup. Hey, happily burn stuff.
Yeah, you know that because London's Burning is the fire brigade equivalent of causality.
So, the bill, or stuff like that.
The bill, yeah. They're all of the same ilk. It's not Christmas Day stuff, though, is it? Really? I mean, I suppose EastEnders always been on Christmas Day, isn't it, with a tragedy or drama? So I suppose
that's true.
That tradition.
Yeah, we like to watch things worse off to make ourselves feel better.
Yeah, nothing says Happy Christmas, enjoy your pudding more than a house being burnt down and people being rescued out of it.
Well, it's a feel-good story for the ages.
I bet you it started by a bloody Christmas pudding being set on fire. It's bound to be.
I reckon it'll be that as well.
Blue Peter decorations or something that someone's tried to create one that they used the wrong sellotape and it's flammable. Did you check the tinsel was not anti-flammable? Did you check any of that? When you lit the candle, when it went up and the curtains went up, did you think about that? Did you?
He said it was inflammable. But that means the same as flammable. Those damn words.
Yes, and you've cut all the little tags off the back of your sofa so you don't know if they're fire protective, do you?
Now we can't give them away to charity when we've done with them.
Exactly.
They won't take them.
They just won't take them.
They won't have them. Also, other Christmas Day highlights on BBC One include the network television premiere of Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis' 1985 blockbuster sci-fi comedy, Back to the Future.
Oh, it's a good film, though. That is a good Christmas Day film.
Cracker film. As well as the 1984 Western adventure Silverado, starring Kevin Kline and Kevin Costner.
Not as good.
Not as good, no.
Good. It's all right. Silverado.
No, that's BBC's. Over on ITV, the movie highlight is the network television premiere of the epic 1980 Star Wars sequel, The Empire Strikes Back. Pretty good.
It's a little late, but it's pretty good to have it on, finally.
Yeah, what is it, 8 years?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's weird to think back now.
Yes.
To think back that takes 8 years for a film to get from cinema screens to TV
British
screen.
TV, to network TV, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just unheard of now, isn't it?
No.
Now, with modern technology, it's like 8 minutes.
Absolutely. It's before it comes out.
Yeah, sometimes it has been, yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching films sometimes, and I'm not proud of it, but I have, before they're actually on the cinema, which is ridiculous.
Yes,
it's like, what's going on? But back then we had to wait 8 years. I mean, it'd been on video.
8 years, it's crazy.
But 8 years to get to the TV, that's crazy. And we didn't have any other way, so it wasn't like, it went to Netflix, it went to Sky, it just took 8 years before you could just sit down and actually watch it on telly. And then if you forgot to record it, you had to wait another 3 years for it to show up again.
And I'm wondering if that is where they famously said with Darth Vader instead of Darth Vader.
Was that on Empire Strikes Back, or was that with any of them, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure it was Empire Strikes Back, and now on ITV it's the Empire Strikes Back with Darth Vader.
Why would you even pronounce it with this soft A?
Because it's stupid Redfuss, isn't it? It's Redfuss, and he did what he wanted.
Does he think it's what's supposed to rhyme with Darth? Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. It's not scary sounding, is it, for some reason?
No.
Lord of the Sith. Let me introduce Lord of the Sith. Darth Vader. Everyone is tearing it.
Sorry, I think you'll find it's loaded as Scythe.
It's like, Darth what?
Darth Vader.
This is Darth Maul, a Darth Vader, and we're all here.
With Yoda.
Yoda. Oi, Yoda, come here.
Good old Yoda.
Yoda. Oi, Yoda. What you want? God's sake. I'm trying to do everything here. Can only juggle so many rocks. Bloody hell, what you want to do? Lift a spaceship out the swamp again, you idiot. Don't park it there. Told you.
What accent is that?
I don't know. It's Yoda's.
It's Yoda's voice.
Yeah, when was the last time you encountered anyone from Dagobah?
Dagobah. With Lucky Skywalker.
It's Yoda from Dagobah. All right. Oh, hey. Oi, oi.
Good old Yoda.
Be ace if Yoda had that kind of sort of cocky voice. All right, mate. Hey.
Hey, judge me by my size, would you? Who? You have the same word intonation, but just not.
Step before, Luke. Do or do not. There is no try. All right. Get on with it.
Yeah, your sister is. All right. Just get over it.
She's your sister. That's your mate. Get on with it. Bosh.
Get that bloody X-Wing out my swamp.
That'd be hilarious. You got some sort of angry sort of East End guy as Yoda. Yoda. Oi, get that bloody android off
you
my
can't
stuff.
Park that there.
C3P, what? You can't translate shit.
Oh dear.
Good old and so Yoda. Forth. Good
and
old
so
Yoda.
On. 26th of December, BBC One is Civvy Street, a spin-off. This makes no sense to me. A spin-off episode of EastEnders set during World War II.
Yeah, they did like a what the square was like when it was back in the war, because of course London was heavily bombed, wasn't it? So
okay, cheery.
It wasn't. I remember it. It wasn't because I had somebody from an ex-Grange Hill cast member playing a young Pat Butcher, as I recall. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I've stepped on a rake. Later that same evening, the channel airs Bruce and Ronnie, a Christmas special presented by Bruce Forsyth and Ronnie Corbett. First appeared together at a 1988 Royal Variety Performance.
Now, when you say that, it doesn't mean that that's when they appeared and just were born at that time. They just appeared at the front of the stage. Yeah. There was a loud pop sound, like a Terminator bubble appeared, and them two were in it. Oh, hello.
Just came out, nice to see you nice. Who are you?
Did you just come out of a time bubble?
Well, I've got a story to tell you.
Then Bruce Forsyth just throw a smoke bomb down. They're both going, where have they gone? Wow, I didn't think he could move that fast. It's incredible.
He was quite fast for his size.
I love the fact that that's where they first appeared. And then they disappeared.
And they disappeared until they reappeared doing this Bruce and Ronnie thing. That's how they do it.
Anyway, together at last. Later in that evening, by the way, they interviewed famous celebrities in an oversized bath.
Ooh, lovely.
But it didn't end well, and a few deaths were involved.
Oh, no. That's sad to hear. Very sad to hear. Yes. No one likes a bath. 26th to the 30th of December, as part of a Christmas special, the Channel 4 soap Brookside airs 5 episodes over 5 consecutive days.
Oh, just in case you're really bored. Goodness me.
You'd have to be, wouldn't you, to watch 5 days worth of Brookside.
There must have been some big story arc coming to an end at that point.
Probably.
Some tragic bloody nonsense.
29th of December, as we head into New Year, the network television premiere of Joe Dante's 1984 smash hit comedy horror movie Gremlins was on ITV.
Good film, that. I remember that being on as well. I remember watching that on that time.
Yeah, I'm sure I watched it as well. Just to sort of say about this, so I still always buy it, but all these would have been, circled in my Radio Times.
Yes, yeah.
Because Radio Times would have been bought. You go through it, looking at the films when they're on, marking them out, working out, should I take that one? How many videos have I got? Should I take that one? Yeah.
Still do it. Still do it every year.
Yeah, I do as well. I still do it, even though I don't have TV.
Yeah. Because I'm an idiot. Weird that you do that. Yeah.
Well, but yeah, what I do is I look for stuff that it reminds me of stuff to watch.
You've turned into the old man from the Lost Boys.
I have a bit.
Why watch the TV when you can just read the TV guide?
Exactly right. Then all I do, it reminds me of stuff. I should watch that. Yeah, I'll watch that. I forget about stuff, you see. Then I remember with the help of reading aids. 30th of December, Channel 4 airs the Cotton Collection, an evening of archive classic BBC programmes. including episodes of Frost Over England and Dad's Army. Channel 4 are always airing collections from other channels, I've noticed.
Cheap content, isn't it? Cheap
this is where Bootsy and Snudge turned up, wasn't it? On one of them.
Exactly. And they did it another Christmassy period, didn't they? Every Christmas they just have what was it like years ago on TV? No, thanks.
Yeah, no, don't like that. 31st of December, though, New Year's Eve highlights on BBC One include a special edition of Top of the Pops, celebrating the programme's 25th anniversary.
Yep, excellent. Some good acts on there. Good old Top of the Pops. It was a bit of one of those ones where it went back through the decades of some famous performances. It's quite a good one.
Good. And
they do a lot more of those now than they did then, but it was quite good.
Well, yeah, it's because it's not on now, so they don't have any choice, do they?
Exactly. Exactly.
And the network television premiere of Perry Mason in the Case of the Sinister Spirit.
Oh, Perry Mason.
Yeah.
Not really my thing.
Not really my thing. Although I will say the new HBO remake of Perry Mason, well, I say new, it's out in 2020. It's very good, though. Yeah, generally, it's a proper remake. So it's like set in 1932 and stuff. So it's good. It's very good.
Yeah,
I can recommend it.
You've lost me now. That's it. You said it was set in 1932. That's not my favourite year.
If it said 33, I'd have been all over it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't watch things from 1932 for that exact reason. It's just that it's not a good year.
That's true. New shows. Well, we've already talked about Park Avenue.
Yeah.
3rd of December, How to Be Cool. This was based on a novel, 1987 novel written by Philip Pullman and intended for older teen readers. Philip Pullman, is he? What's his face? Isn't he Golden Compass guy?
You'd need to ask somebody that knows.
Yes, he is. Yeah, definitely is. Yes. So he wrote this book, How to Be Cool, which revolved around a young man named Jacob who finds out the truth about the sinister plans of the National Cool Board and hits upon an idea to beat them at their own game. So this was adapted for television and starred Roger Daltrey and Freddie Jones.
Two good actors in there. Roger Daltrey is actually a pretty good actor when he turns his hand to it. Freddie Jones is Freddie Jones, isn't he? Sadly passed away now.
He was Freddie Jones, yeah. 4th of December was The Rainbow.
Yay! Oh, no, wait. No.
This is a BBC Television 3-episode serial of the D.H. Lawrence novel, The Rainbow.
Oh, racy.
I can honestly say I've never read a D.H. Lawrence novel in my life.
Yeah, it's a bit saucy, that one.
Is it? Did he do... What else did he do? Did he do... What's the other saucy one?
Lady Chatterley?
Did he do Lady Chatterley?
Don't quote me on that. I could be way off the mark.
Again.
Lady Chatterley, yeah. Women in Love and Lady Chatterley and all that.
Yeah, classic literature's not my bag.
I think, isn't there a film adaptation of it by Russell... I was say Russell Crowe then. It's not Russell Crowe.
Russell Mulcahy?
Ken Russell.
There can be only one. There can be only one Lady Chatterley.
I think it's Ken Russell I was thinking of.
I'd love to see a Russell Mulcahy version. You're a bit of a wild boy. Wild boys! Wild boys!
Wild boys! It might be where it comes from.
Could be. 5th of December, Super Sense.
I remember watching a lot of them actually back then, Super Sense, because
I don't remember it. What was it?
It's where they strapped cameras to the birds' heads and made so you could see what it looked like from a bird's perspective and this is what it looks like from a shark's eyes and that kind of thing. It was like that sort of thing where they say groundbreaking effects. They just strapped cameras to the side of creatures' heads uncontrollably and horribly. They drowned a lot of penguins apparently, but at least we got to see what it looked like out of a penguin's eyes as it drowned.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
21st of December, we had Barney.
We did. Not Barney, the purple dinosaur Barney, though. This is Barney the dog, voiced by Tim Brooke Taylor.
Was this a kid's
cartoon animation? Yeah.
Kid show. Okay, another one of them. 23rd of December, we had Billy's Christmas Angels.
Weird.
This is very weird. This is some kind of odd... This was BBC. Billy wants to play in a rock band with his brother Dave. This Christmas, Billy's Angels come down to Earth to help Billy find Dave and reality through Faith, Hope and Charlie. It was some kind of thing for the mint juleps or something.
Whatever. Weird. I didn't watch it. Don't remember it.
Very odd. No. 29th of December, You Rang, My Lord.
Not my cup of tea at all.
No, this was a new sitcom from Perry and Croft, creators of Dad's Army and things like that, and it starred Paul Shane, Jeffrey Holland and Sue Pollard from Heidi High, well. Donald Hewlett and Michael Knowles from Ain't Half Hot Mum, and Bill Pertwee, and occasionally Frank Williams from Dad's Army. The weirdest thing about this, the memorable 1920s style theme tune was sung by comedian Bob Monkhouse.
How random. Not on purpose either. Under duress.
He was held down.
He's held down and forced to sing. Sing, Monkhouse.
they were going to threaten to remove his funny gland.
He's not going to sing. Yoda, make him sing.
Oi, Monkhouse.
Oi, Monkhouse, get singing.
I may look small, but I can fit in hard places.
You can hit higher notes than that.
You rang me, Lord. You will ring.
That's how it happened. That's how it happened. We like to break new ground with this podcast. Then we are the first people to realise that Bob Monkhouse was coerced into singing by an angry green alien from another world.
Cockney alien.
Cockney alien from the planet Dagobah.
That's good. Good old Dagobah. 30th of December, finally, 30th December, 12th Night, or What You Will, is a videotaped 1988 television adaptation of Kenneth Branagh's stage production for the Renaissance Theatre Company of William Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. First broadcast in the UK by Channel 4, 30th December. Someone videotaped this. So does that mean that someone played it, videoed it, and then they just played the video back?
Sounds like it to me.
You got that video, 12th Night? We're stuck. We've got nothing to put on.
You've got it. It's in my bag. Oh, whack it in there. It's out VHS. Yeah, we'll just tell everyone the quality's crap on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an arty thing. Everyone thinks that about Branagh. No one will wonder.
But did you tape over it just as it's getting towards the end? It's like, was there anything? Did you tape over anything after this? You might want to stop it right before the credits stop. Well, what is it? Just stop it, for God's sake.
Just stop it. It's what's his face? It's Sam Tandy or whatever his name was.
Exactly. Unless be like that sequence in
Steve Tandy.
Sequence in Fight Club where you just see one frame of bah! Like, oh God.
Yoda. Anyway, there we go. That was it. That's your Christmas telly. Empire Strikes
really
Back.
Good telly.
Some good films. Back to the Future, Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Gremlins, Santa Claus.
3 good ones, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. That's all good.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. That's your telly or TV for December 1988. We're going to go away, take a quick break after that bit, and hopefully Yoda won't find us. We come back. We've got 4 more games still to play and get through. So please do stick around. Prestinum on course. I'm almost there, ready to deliver David Hearn's books, including Back in Time for a Donut and The Case of the Notorious Roboticist, to a bookstore near you. Let's just bypass Tag and...
Oi! Where's that copy of Escape from the Commodore 64 you promised me? Dave's latest book.
Oh, not you again. I thought I lost you outside Gamma 5. Hey, did you just fire at my ship? Says I've got some conflict damage.
I'll give you conflict. Looks like your Nova Drive is shot. Literally. Tragic, that.
Computer says I'm on a collision course with Tag.
Options. You can crash into Tag, and it just so happens I'm also the mayor, so straight to prison for you. Or you can give over that last copy of Dave's latest book.
Yeah, in exchange for what?
Let me see. Aha! I've got a spare Nova Drive back here. How about that?
Okay. I can't do mercenary again. Deal. Dave's latest book, Escape from the Commodore 64, is all yours. There.
Oh, I love the cover. There's Paradroid, Impossible Mission, and Law of the West. Get your own copy. You're not having mine at davidhearnwriter.com.
Can I ask a quick question, though? How would you keep me in a prison that only has lines for walls? And we're back. 4 more games to get through. Let's waste no time. Let's get straight in. First one up is Pulse Warrior. It's £2, £1.99. It's got 78%. And it's another arcade puzzler. Comes from Mastertronic. Pulse Warrior. This was coded by Simon Price. He did Qua and Red Hawk.
Ooh.
Games we haven't looked at because they're adventure games, but I do remember both of those. They're kind of like
Qua.
It was that comic book superhero type adventure game with panels.
Yeah, I remember it, yeah.
He did that. So he's done this. He also worked on Whiz for Melbourne House.
Whiz?
We didn't like that.
This
has also got music and sounds by Steve Barrett.
Okay.
Okay. Before we get into this game, I do just want to make mention that the cover, which seems to bear no relation to actually what this game is about, but has a man on it in a. Can you describe this? It's got a purple crab on his head.
It's a man in a very, very tightly fitting purple tunic, which is very tight in the crotch, with a purple crab on his head. It's got a purple crab on his head. There's no way around that. That's what it is.
No.
It is what it is.
And it's like on some alien planet. None of this is on an alien planet, this game. None of it. This is another one of those Pulse Warrior. Yeah, I can do that, mate. I can draw you a cover for Pulse Warrior. What's it about? Don't need to know what it's about. I'll draw you something. He's obviously a warrior, in it, and he fires out, guns, yeah. pulse. Got a laser gun, a pulse gun. So no worries. I'll do that.
What I don't understand, and I can't get my head around, is why you would choose to draw the Pulse Warrior like that.
I don't know. I mean, he's the crab on his head. It's like something out of Half-Life 2.
It is. It's a head crab.
It's a head crab. It's obviously controlling him. And as for what these electric orbs are, in the things sector, and the sort of yellowy sky when this game takes place in space.
Dear, yeah, it's all kinds of wrong. All kinds of wrong.
It's very wrong. Anyway, that's the cover. It's always worth a mention as a nice cover.
It is.
Anyway, in the 22nd century, all of the Earth's power comes from the sun. Not much changed, probably, via giant space platforms.
Okay.
These capture the energy from the sun and relay it back to Earth. This is all good. We've gone a bit green. That's all good. However, as is ever the case, the Earth has come under attack from the Darak, hideous things, reptile things from Cirrus Major, and their first port of call is to knock out these platforms in space and thus take down all our power sources, the dirty rotters. The problem here is that no one thought to put any defences on the platforms, which is a bit of an oversight. That's their the entirety of our power comes from them. They'll be all right.
Yes, quite an oversight, that.
Yeah, so there's no real way to take down the aliens in a conventional shoot-them-all manner, so this is not a shoot-em-up. No, the only way they can be defeated is to use the power of the platforms themselves, use the energy collectors to fire pulses of energy out and direct them to destroy the aliens as they land. Convoluted, but that's the job that you're faced with. There's no title screen to speak of in this, just a decent piece of music over the initial screen. So it's just, we're straight into the game. There's nothing here. And there's a stab of the fire button gets us going. There's a line of UI at the top showing your lives, the score, and there's some further numbers to the right. But I'm not sure what they exactly are. And I looked through the instructions, did not offer an explanation for them either. I think I have actually worked them out, but I'll come to that in a little bit. So, because they're red, blue, and yellow, there's just these numbers. And I think that ties into something in the game. But the instructions didn't say, so I'm just going to make a bit of a guess a bit later on. So, yeah, I'm not sure. The rest of the screen shows the game. And this is it's a flick screen puzzler, so it's kind of top down. The graphics are bas relief, I'd say. They're in a bas relief style. And they show the exterior of the ship, and the game takes place over a 6x6 grid of screens. So we've got 36 screens to play through. Each of these screens is a section of the spaceship. If you mapped it all out, and I've seen a map of it, it just looks like the top of a ship. It's quite nice. It's all right. So in each one of these screens, there's a black round lens on it. So there's parts of the sort of level, the craft that you move around on within these screens. Sort of there's higher walls on the outside of these bits, and you move around on the inside of these. So they've got a black round lens on it, and there's a landing pad as well where aliens can be seen landing. Obviously, it's a landing pad. That's the two things that go on here. There are also pulse generators sort of built into the walls, and these fire out little white lines of energy that will bounce around the screen, and they sort of hit and they move around at sort of 45 degrees. So they'll hit a wall, bounce off, and that's what happens here. So there's these pulse energies putting these out, and they sort of bounce around, and you control this thing. So when they hit the lens, you control a small grey square, and your job is to reflect the energy pulses. First of all, you've got to deflect them towards the lens. So you've got to sort of get in the way of them. When they hit you, they'll sort of knock you back a little, but they'll bounce off you at 45 degrees. And so when they hit the lens, they disappear, but the lens itself powers up. There's no way of knowing this. It just powers up. The next one that hits it, when it goes in, it will come out with that one that you've powered it up with. So it'll come out at a longer line. Because these are little sort of small lines, it'll come out double its size. It's like a more powerful pulse of energy. You've got to then get another of the small ones into the lens, fire the big one back into the lens and get it to absorb that. And when it's become long enough, by feeding enough smaller energy into the lens and creating the larger one, you can then try and bounce this powerful energy pulse into the landing site. Obviously, there's about 2 or 3 of these pulses sort of bounce around at all times, and you've kind of got to sort of take care of them and make sure that you don't lose the long one off the screen, because it can happily go off screen or anything like that. So it's quite tricky. If it's powerful enough to, when it hits the landing site, it will destroy it, and it will then shut that screen down. You've done that screen, well done. Screen done. And what you've got to do is you basically got to do this across all 36 screens in order to complete the game. So, as I said, there's a map of this, and if you map the levels out, it's like each screen connects to another one. There's like exits. Kind of reminded me of that slime, sort of a bigger version of that Slime is Mine. A little bit how those mines sort of link to each other. Similar in sort of style to that. So each screen connects to another one of your exits, and you're free to progress to the next screen as you see fit, even if you've not destroyed the landing pad on the one you're on. So you can move around the spaceship as much as you want. There's you don't have to sort of stay on one particular screen and try and do it. You can go to the next one or whatever. It's up to you. When you do this, when you move off screen, the game will flip to like a map of the overall ship, and you'll see the 36 zones here. You'll see the 6x6 grid. It doesn't give you a full map. What it does, they're all represented by squares. So these little squares that are on these, they're color-coded, red, blue, and yellow. and each has a number next to it representing the difficulty of that screen. These are either 4, 8, or 12. Now, what I think this is, and I think somehow these colours are linked to those 3 numbers on the top of the UI because it's the same colours. I don't know exactly how, because they change and move around and count down and stuff. I don't know if it's like the number of aliens that are landing and you've got to stop them from getting to 0, if all the red ones, I'm not sure. There's some connection there. I just don't know fully what it is. And I've read the instructions, it just doesn't say. That's it. So yeah, so the color-coded red, blue, and yellow. If you've shut the landing pad down, though, on the screen, that zone is represented by a black color on the map. So you know which one you've done. Should you take out all screens of a certain color? So if you take out all the red ones or all the yellow ones or all the blue ones, you get an extra life, and that's all right. So you can sort of work your way. You can work your way around, aim to try and take out all the red ones. You want to get an extra life, and you can progress like that if you want. Or you could just work from screen to screen to screen and try and just take them out in order. It's up to you. It's completely up to you how you sort of approach this. There are obstacles on the screens as well. These are sort of service droids, and they sit there. They don't do anything. They don't move. They don't come after you, but they sit there. If you collide with them, they'll take you out and you'll lose one of your 5 lives. And if you lose all 5 lives, then it's game over. The pulses will sometimes, they will just bounce away off the screen because they go out the exit. If they go out the exit, you've lost them and you've got to start with another pulse. And especially if you've got a long pulse, that you're trying to get towards the landing site and it sort of goes off at a random angle and then bounces out and off the screen, it can be quite frustrating and annoying. So that can happen. And some of the walls as well, when you get some of the later screens, they will actually absorb the pulses as well. So you don't want to bounce these pulses into those walls because you'll lose the pulse. And it's all about trying to shepherd these things around. So it takes a little time to get your head around this. But I think once you do, there's an okay game here. It reminded me of that Pete Cook one we played a while back, that Brainstorm, where you're trying to trap the line or whatever it was in that sort of on the red to sort of get your score up and things like that. It's a similar sort of vibe to that in the way you had to coax a moving target towards a destination. And it also reminded me of what we looked at last week, that Intensity with its sort of single screen space.
Yeah.
Puzzling. It's similar it's this kind of sort of feel of like a single screen. You're not shooting, you're doing something different. It's in that kind of mold. Now, I wasn't sure at first what to make of this, but the once you get your head around it and the simple premise and the ability to scoot around the ship as you see fit and approach the screens in any order you like, I thought this made it for quite an interesting game. Actually, there's quite a nice idea. It does feel a little lifeless though when playing it. A bit of music would have been good. There's some nice music on title screen. It would have been nice to have some in-game music, even just a sort of a low burble or just some background, just the hum of the spaceship or something, just some noises, because all there is like beeps and boops when the pulses hit the walls and stuff, and it's a bit empty, and it can feel a bit of a tad slow to play, but it's all right. It's not too bad. It got 78%. Yeah, maybe a tad higher considering the price, and it's quite a clever game all told. Some of the graphics are a bit rough. Some of the screens, the yellow ones, I'm thinking, are a bit hard on the eye, but overall, it's got a nice aesthetic. It keeps to its thing. It's pretty simple. The story works in what you're doing. It's not overly told. It's not overly convoluted. There's one mechanic. You've just got to do this thing, but how you approach it is up to you. I quite like this. I thought it was all right. As these sort of single screen puzzlers go, I enjoy my time with it. What about you?
Yeah, it was better than average, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was clever. It's a nice, clever puzzler. I thought the graphics were really good on this. I really liked the style of the way they were done.
Yeah.
It looked a lot more expensive than it actually was.
Yes.
That's quite nice. I quite like that. It's only $1.99, wasn't it? 78% is not a bad score for this. I thought it was odd. It sort of starts, it's a bit odd. When it first starts, it's sort of odd. Because it's sort of, you're kind of wondering what it's all about. You're looking at it, there's things moving around, you've got that thing that you move in, and there's kind of an obtuse quality to it all. You do have to take your time with it, but that was exactly as you point out was the story of Intensity as well. I mean, I know I enjoyed that a bit more than you did, but at the same time, it's just, there's not much given away in the instructions for this. So
no, there's a lot of story, but not much.
Yeah, it's just again, it's one of those games that I think oddly, I mean, I liked it, but for the exact reasons that you noted with Intensity, it's that it doesn't have a lot of screen direction initially. There's not a lot of indications of what's happening. It's quite hard to follow. No, there's just lines bouncing around and you've got that thingy moving around and you change to a different screen. But gradually over time, as you sort of get to the grips when you start to realise what's what and you start to find to get the placement and things start to make sense, I think there's quite a nice playable game in there. £2 though, there's a lot of playable game in it. I think it's one of those games you'd buy it, and if you didn't bounce off it straight away because you're like, what the hell is all this? If you just took that extra moment, you're going to get quite a lot out of it. And it's just, again, it's another reminder that puzzle games are pretty good on the C64 generally when there's mind's been put to it. For $1.99, some of these budget puzzle games like this, and even I know Bombuzal wasn't $1.99, but they're really good. They're good little puzzle games. You don't have to have craziness on the screen. You just have to be able to build up a good sort of puzzle profile, and you can get people into it. This is a slower in than I think it would probably have benefited from. But I thought it was all right. Didn't look and play too badly at all. And for £2, I think you're getting quite a nice little value for money game there. So I liked it. I liked it quite a lot. I was playing it for quite a while. Wasn't sure exactly what I was doing some of the time, but still enjoyed it all the same. Good. And all the sounds and everything, all good. Really, I love the graphics in it. I thought they looked really nice. So very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well done, you. Very good.
Indeed. I'm wondering as well, sort of thing, what a game about a man in a purple tunic with a head crab would have been like.
we may yet come to that.
We may yet, or we may never know, sort of thing. But it's certainly nothing to do with this game where you're controlling a craft on a spaceship.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with it. I don't know what they were thinking of. I'm guessing the old loco weed was in full effect at that point.
I'm guessing they just got sent it. You want to draw a pulse where? Yeah, right, no worries.
He's like, yeah. He's writing the notes down. Yeah. Wait, is it giant crab head? Yeah, all right, got it.
Got it.
I didn't say that. Click. Oh no! Don't tell me he's going to draw that.
No, we did Poltergeist last time we asked him. And what was the other one as well, which had nothing to do with the game as well?
There's quite a few.
One. Yeah,
there's a third one.
Oh dear. Anyway, there we go. Pulse Warrior. It's all right. Quite liked it.
Right.
Quite good.
Yeah,
good. Good game.
Not bad.
Let's move on. See if the next one's just as good. The next one. Well, this is a race against time. Tell us about it.
It is. This is from Codemasters. It was coded by Colin Jones on the C64, although I believe this is an Oliver Twins game on the Spectrum. The title screen was by Stephen Day. The musician here was David Whittaker with a really odd version of Games Without Frontiers by Peter Gabriel, which is really odd. But then again, it's a charity thing, isn't it? The whole thing is a charity game. It was for Sport Aid in 1988. Hence the $4.99 price tag. But oh dear, it scored a 30% rating in Zap, so it's not getting the ratings. The race against time, then, it was based on Sport Aid 88, which was a global program of sport, music and carnival, cultivating in the simultaneous 10-kilometer worldwide run that took place on September the 11th, 1988. I remember some of our school teachers taking part in that back in the day. Millions of people around the world joined the campaign to help children worldwide fight hunger, poverty, and disease. A noble cause, that. In this game, players take on the role of Omar Khalifa, the legendary Sudanese athlete who has decided to participate. Starting from the El Mahoueli relief camp in Sudan, he has limited time to raise a flag and light a flame in each of the 6 continents. Khalifa's journey has him past famous landmarks such as the Statue of Liberty, the United Nations Building, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Mount Rushmore, the Sydney Opera House, the Colosseum, the Eiffel Tower, and a whole bunch of other cliched buildings you ain't never heard of. There are multiple routes, obviously, on each continent. Khalifa can pick up objects to help him reach places, but only one object can be carried at a time, which is odd because most people have pockets and things and backpacks. He can also get an hourglass, which will give him more time. The run is over when Khalifa runs out of time or when he comes into contact with dangers he must face. Okay, look. A no doubt noble cause. All right, all of that. Cause, just, amazing. The charity, everything. The game, not so good. Okay, it's a Spectrum port, or at least I think that's the direction it came from. Spectrum out.
Oh God, yeah.
So it has the usual high-res looking sprites and backgrounds. They're detailed, I guess, but all single color on a whole, albeit nicely drawn, I suppose, for what they are, sort of background. But as a whole, they've got that specky look. In fact, I would argue they look a lot like Dizzy, the Dizzy graphics, and there's probably a reason for that, isn't there? And this is a little bit of a bugbear of mine, and I'm going to discuss it because I think it's important. In this game, the main player sprite is white. Now, I know there's palette limitations on these computers. I know that. I just can't help feeling that sticking everything with a black background instead of maybe blue skies and having a white guy instead of a black athlete, which is the athlete who's on all the adverts, famously. I can't, but that just feels problematic for me. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just a modern lens, and and I just think Daley Thompson managed perfectly well. So I don't understand why that's the case, and it feels odd. It feels off in this, which is in a game that's about such an important cause and about such an important thing, to have the main representation of it then converted into a very white sprite just seemed really naff thing to do when you don't have to do that. And so I know, and I'm not casting aspersions at the people that made the game. Maybe just, whatever the graphics have done, whatever where they were done. I just think you had an opportunity there to really represent things in a good, positive way, and looking back with a real modern lens, why would you do that? Why would you choose to not represent the very culture and the very people and the very the race and everything and the ethnicity of the very people that you're fighting a good cause for in the actual game itself? That's my soapbox moment over, but it annoyed me a bit. The game though itself is dull, and that's the tragedy of it all, I suppose. It's dull and mostly, outside of the music, pretty bland. Run around, pick stuff up, jump here and there. Could almost be a Dizzy game with different sprites. The main window of the game has a kind of banner at the top, an indication of what you are holding, your score, and your remaining time. Below that is a high-res flick screen play window, and you will run about with all those annoying Spectrum sounding tap, tap, tap sounds and periodically jump over stuff. The joystick is in effect here. You move, and then you do diagonally to jump. 5 buttons are the actions again, which is exactly like Dizzy, isn't it? So, and I'm not knocking the cause or the nobility of supporting it, as I said. Raising money for charity and all the awareness and everything, all good things to do. But this game is an exercising bland lifelessness and a somewhat pointless runabout. It just feels like the whole point of the very thing that you're trying to do is not emphasized in this game. There's no imperative. It's just run around, pick stuff up, and maybe avoid stuff. It just seems that there's probably a whole bunch of things that they could have really wove into that to make this more about the whole notion of all of the worldwide fight for hunger and poverty. Maybe there was a better way of doing it than just having an athlete running around picking stuff up outside the Eiffel Tower. I don't know. It just felt like this was a big opportunity to do something really meaningful, and in the end they just couldn't be bothered, or they just didn't work out that way. I think you'd have got more out of things if you'd just donated a $5 to charity and you didn't bother with the game, I have to say. But you know what, maybe it's just an attempt to reach an audience that might not have been reachable. No, and at least the people are getting a game out of it. I don't know. I didn't think the game was very good at all. I thought it was very, very dull. So I don't know how much money it would have grabbed for charity, but it is for a charitable cause. So what can you say? What did you think?
Yeah, it's not very good, is it? I mean, you give it some leeway because it's a charity game. So okay, cut it some slack, but it's still an excuse why I'm seeing an exact port from the Spectrum. The Amstrad version doesn't do that. The Amstrad version has, he's not white. The main character in the Amstrad version, so they have done that. This is just a port from the Spectrum. It's also really late. Spectrum and Amstrad versions came out in the summer.
I was going to say it's late for the race, isn't it? So it's way later.
You can look on Moby Games and you can see all the reviews for the Spectrum version were in like July. So
that makes
whereas
sense.
The Commodore versions are all like November, October, December. So it's a late port and they've just basically ported that Spectrum game over, which is I don't know.
We don't.
I don't get it. It doesn't really need it now. I ran around for a bit. I got into a pyramid. I got lost. I don't know if I didn't like this. It didn't play very well. It just wasn't very interesting. I mean, You should not rely on something being for charity and an excuse to knock out a substandard product, as far as I'm concerned.
No.
I think I'd just prefer to give a $5 to the cause rather than have to play this.
Yeah.
Same thing. And I wouldn't have this in my house because I don't want this game. Because no matter how much the good intention is behind it, it's not a good game. So. No. I'll just donate to charity. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So there you go. And like I said, it's late. Sport had been gone by about 6 months by the time this arrives.
Yeah, missed the mark as well.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. The race against time. Ironically, it was late.
Yeah, it was.
There we go. Let's move on from that one. To our next game. Staying sporty. We have... Epic's latest compilation in the game's Summer Edition. Okay, can they bring back the glory? After the disappointment of the game's Winter Edition, can the glory of the game series be recaptured by Epic's with the game's Summer Edition? This is clearly based on the Seoul Olympics of 1988, I'm guessing, with lots of imagery from there to sort of fuel it. There's no shortage of events here. And the people who worked on this, because code duties went to Edward Chu, Peter Engelbright, Kevin Furry, Carl May, Scott Nelson, Kevin Norman, and Chuck Somerville. Graphics by Susie Green, Cheryl Knowles, Art Koch, Muffy McCosh, Matthew Sacconi, Steve Snyder, and Paul Vernon. And on music, we have Chris Grigg, Chris Ebert, and Bob Vieira. 17 people in total. That's a big team.
A lot of people.
That's a big team for a C64 game.
It is a big team.
Surely with all those people, it has to be good. I mean, some of them worked on Summer Games too. Summer Games, Maniac Mansion. These people, and the Eidolon, and lots of there's pedigree here. Anyway, it's another games game and follows the tried and tested formula with a few tweaks to things to spruce stuff up. When the game first loads, we get the opening ceremonies, starting with a map of South Korea, as a series of Polaroid pictures get overlaid, showing various cultural images of the country before settling into a shot of the stadium and doing a 3D zoom into the big screen and the logo appearing. It's okay. It was a nice opening ceremony. They're all right. I thought it was okay. From there, we are whisked to the Olympic Village. And this is the one thing where things actually do work and look better. The old style menu system is gone. Gone. That blue screen with just a list of text gone here. And what we have is a top-down view of all the arenas and what events are available to each one is represented by an icon. So this is quite nice. So going clockwise from top left, we have the dive-in, the uneven parallel bars and rings, the hammer throw, the archery, the pole vault, and the 110-meter hurdles, and finally the cycling. You control a little Olympic torch, which you move around the screen. And if you click on any of these icons, you're taken to that event immediately. So that's a nice quality of life improvement from the previous functional menus. I quite like this menu system. There's also a 9th icon in the bottom left corner, which is the Olympic torch again. And this is here you can find the option to change the names of the players and their country, whether to watch the opening ceremonies again, compete in all or some events, or view the world records. So that's where your sort of options are. Or you can go back to the main menu and just pick a single one. It's quite nicely done, and I quite like it. So I have to say, the menu system here is quite nice. When you pick your name and you type your name in, you pick a country from the flag. That's kind of all usual Epic stuff. It's a little bit different, but it's the same sort of stuff. Put your people in who you want to pick a flag for the country you want to represent, and you can have up to, I think it's 8 players you can have, can't you? Was it 8? I think it's up to 8.
Yeah, it was 6 or 8, but
it's like 6 or 8. I can't remember. Yeah. So once you've sorted out what you want to do, you proceed to the events themselves. So I played them all, and this is how they came up for me. First up was the diving. This gives you a side-on view of the diver as they approach from the right, which I thought was an odd angle, an odd direction, but okay, I'll get on with it. A tap of the joystick to the left sees them walk along, do a jump. You can hold down as they land to get more spring, but if you tap to the right to get them to walk along and you hold to the right, they'll stop at the end and do a reverse dive, so they'll stop and spring off that way. Once they're in the air, you've got a load of moves to choose from, confusingly a lot of moves because you've got so little time. And you choose the moves from those ones on offer by pulling the joystick in a direction and try to get a clean entry into the water. That's it, really. Because it's a low dive, you're just above the water. So this is just a springboard. It's not a high cliff dive or lots of dives like we saw in Summer Olympiad or the first Summer Games. This is I am 2 foot above the water and I've got to do one somersault if I can manage it. The graphics are nice, I guess. They're big. The animation's not that fluid, though. I thought it was a bit jerky. And the scoring I found entirely arbitrary. As for one dive, I got a 10 from one judge and 1.8 from another.
Yeah, sounds about right.
That doesn't work. Anyway, I scored 139 on this. I don't know what that meant. Maybe that's good. Next up is the cycling. Here we get Here we get a screen split into 3. On the right, we have a top-down view of the track with our racers represented by dots. This reminded me of the speed skating from the Winter Games one. On the left, we get a split screen of the 2 riders from behind as they race around the velodrome in 3D. The point here is to do 2 laps, as you would do in an all race. You've got to sort of go slow and you're sort of trying to psych your opponent out by keeping your stamina high. You've got a stamina bar under each of these 3D viewpoints. And then on the 3rd lap, it's like go hell for leather and try and do it. The graphics are very odd, I think is the best way I can put this. They don't really work that well. There's really blocky buildings and landscapes. Everything's grey and boring, and the cyclists are really thin. They're like really thin. It's like they've been stretched or squeezed. They're thin. And the way they sort of, you move left or right, the angle's all wrong. And the control system for this is you waggle up and down for power and left and right to steer, which may sound tricky, but it's not actually that hard to win because all you need to do is make sure you're in front as you go into the last lap, if you're up against a computer, and he won't be able to overtake you because you just stay on the inside and he'll just come up inside you and won't bother to go around you. So it doesn't even matter if you run out of stamina. Anyway, it's dull to play. I got 10.58 seconds, whatever that meant. Up next is the unbelievably stupid, uneven parallel bars. I will say this. There's some nice animation here. There is some nice animation in this one. Yeah. You see this from an angle, so it's like an isometric angle. It's like back up and to the back right. So you're looking kind of down on it from the, I don't know how to describe it. You're looking down on it and to the right. It's like an isometric. And you see this one, gymnast sprints in from the bottom left and bounces onto the bars. And what follows is a series of moves that are cool, but in no way do you really feel in control. The manual has a diagram of how the moves flow together that look like a conspiracy theorist's corkboard. I think is the best way I can describe it. And if you do manage to get yourself extricated from these, you'll have no real clue how you did it. I got 7.1. I don't know. It was just you spring around, you fling from bar to bar, you turn, you stand, you dive. It's like I don't know what. Where's the simplicity gone? It's not gone on the rings. That's the next one up, where you have to waggle in all kinds of different directions to get your gymnast to do anything. And once again, this is explained by a spider diagram in the manual list. Literally thought that someone had just written stuff and a spider just walked across the thing. We'll post these pictures. You've got to see them. Go look. Will there be a link here? Go look at the manual. Be in the show notes. Go look at the manual. If you don't believe us, just try and get your head around these images. This is just ridiculous. It's just impossible to make any sense of. I got 15 in this. I don't know if that's good, but I'm presuming it's bad because I kept falling off. And when you fall off, you just collapse the thing. When you stop waggling, he just gives up. Like, what's going on? Those two are just stupid, those things, because they're so complicated. There's some nice animation, as I said, in both of them, but it's completely uncontrollable. Hammer throw next. Best animation of the lot here, though. Really, really nice animation on this hammer throw. It's basically, and this is probably one of the better ones, you spin the joystick round to build up speed. So it's just, like the old, so you're spinning it round rather than waggling. So you're moving it round and round, and as your hammer thrower starts to spin, you press the fire, and then he'll start to move across the circle, and you tap and fire again to release at the right time. And throw it. Very, very track and field. It's essentially a better version, a more graphically updated version of the track and field one. It's essentially the same, but with better animation. There's even a touch of some of the old humor here, as if you don't press fire button, you fly off the screen. Mm-hmm. So this felt like a throwback. This one, because it felt like a control system that seemed easy to understand, fit the on-screen action, looked great, felt part of something else. This felt like an event from Summer Games 2, or California Games or Winter Games or something, one of those. It felt like a World Games, maybe. It felt like a proper throwback, this one. Probably the best one. I got 80.2 meters on the one time I did manage to get to throw it, which is quite good. Onto the hurdles. Why are there only 2 people running?
Don't know.
Why there's 4 in? We thought that 4 went a lot in Summer Olympiad. Now there's 2 here. They're not even that well animated. And it's a waggle here. Why are we waggling? With fire button to jump over the hurdles. Try not to click them too much as you'll fall and be disqualified. The animation is okay, but it felt like, what this felt like? It felt like I was running in the 1930s for some reason. I think it's something to do with their outfits.
Women athletes though, wasn't it? Which is unusual for these kind of games.
I couldn't tell, if I'm perfectly honest.
Female athletes.
Right, female athletes. I mean, that's a good thing, but it still felt like I was running in the 1930s. I think it's something to do with the plimsolls that look like they were running in. I didn't do very well at this. Got 21.53. Then we have the pole vault. And the control system is stupid. So when you start, you get a view of the vaulter running towards the screen. It's like waggling, pole waggling at you.
It's really weird.
It's like threatening. It's like, ooh. It's like, oh, stop
really
waggling
weird.
at me, you.
I heard the sound of him breathing and sweating, even though he didn't do that.
Exactly. So you've got to tap left and right as his feet hit the floor in tandem with him, with his feet in the floor to build up speed, which seems at odds because no matter what I tried, I could never manage to build enough speed to get my vaulter off the ground once it cuts to the thingy. So once you get close to the actual put the vault in, you pull down, you ping up, and the thing. I basically got about 2 foot off the floor each time. I went, I was like, oh, this is crap. Yeah, whatever. I didn't get a score on that one. Finally, archery. There's a 3/4 view from behind the archer with a target in the distance. A tap of the fire button sees your archer pull the bow back, and you pull to the left to get more pull and speed. Once you've let go, I think you set fire button, then you get a close-up of the target, and you've got like your sort of looking down as if you're looking down the aim of your bow, and it's kind of wobbling about, so you've got to kind of sort of aim for the middle of the target. But you've got to sort of take into account the wind, which is depicted by a windsock just on the screen, which is sort of flopping about as the wind sort of takes it. And you aim and fire 3 times. I got 24 on this and enjoyed it. Probably the best out of all of them because it's nice and it's simple and it works. And it has that challenge to get better and enough variables to have to consider at all times. That wind, the aim, pullback, time it takes, all that kind of stuff. It's simple and single screen, and it just works because it works as you expect it to work. You pull left to pull left. You aim, you press fire. That's it. Nice and simple. Then we have the closing ceremonies. We get some drums being banged, and it's all over. That's it. Okay. There are 2 events that I liked, and they're the simplest, the hammer and the archery, and they're probably because they feel like events in other games. The rest, the rings and uneven bars are ridiculous. The hurdles are dull. The diving and pole vault were better in Summer Games, which were both done before, and they were better in that one. The cycling was better in Summer Games too. It's hard to imagine that when you look back at the cycling in Summer Games 2, how much better it is. It's so much better. Don't know, what can you say about this? 2 decent events and the rest are either rubbish or done better elsewhere. The graphics are all over the place. The big team obviously haven't helped, because I think you've got some people who are good and understand these kind of systems and some people who are not good and don't. The hammer is great, cycling is rubbish. So when you look at the graphics, they're like 2 different types of game. There's no balance here or cohesive vision of what the game should look like or play like. And the gymnastics events are just ridiculous. 49% this got, and it's about right. And it's a sad way for the series to end, because I think this is the last one in it. I don't think there's another one.
Yeah, this is
But it's been on this trajectory for a while now, so what else were you going to expect? It's just such a shame. You can clearly see that whoever did the archery, whoever did the hammer throw-in, got it. They got it. They understood it was there. They worked. The rest, they come from the California Games, British World Games, Winter Edition, and just overcomplicate this nonsense. I don't want a conspiracy theorist corkboard for instructions.
No.
Shame. I think I did play this. I think I played this around at Gary's house back in the day, because I remember the archery, and I think back then the only one we liked was the archery and the hammer, because the rest were rubbish. But no, this is not a good game. And like I said, it's a shame that the game series has gone out in this way. No, I don't like this. 2 events from 8. That's not a good hit ratio. That's 25%. There you go. What did you think?
Well. Nice-ish intro. That part was all right. Select the stuff bit, okay. Cycling, up and down waggling. No. And he took off like a missile at the end of that race. He just took off. I was like, bloody hell, fire, what have you been drinking? Although I was doing very slowly. Diving, I thought the graphics and the animation was quite nice, but it felt completely controlless and arbitrary, and the scoring was off the chart wild. I got 229.
Wow.
I didn't really even do anything. I got 10 off one of the judges.
Yeah.
But he always gave me a 10. It's weird, really bizarre. And then the uneven parallel bars, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Was I even in control?
No.
I'm not sure. I mean, I put that poor girl through torture. I'm pretty sure of that. She was whacking and spinning and grabbing and pulling and yanking and spinning and flipping and flopping and flapping, and she landed, but I didn't get very good marks, so I got loads of negatives, so God knows what I was doing. No idea. The rings, I mean, what the hell? All I could do was drop what looked like play a harmonica, and then he teleported. I'm like, what the hell? No idea what I was doing. I'm pretty sure that's never happened before in the actual Olympics. Maybe it has. The hammer throw, yeah, like you say, nice graphics, fairly straightforward. Somehow, I could never seem to get it, but I did manage to throw one 48-meter thing. Not great, but I'm not sure really what I was doing. But it did feel like a proper old school. Felt like the one of the events in World Games in there. So
yeah.
And that was all right. It was, like you said, one of the 2 that actually stands out in it. The pole vault. God, I've never been menaced by a pole on a pole vault till then. And I was like, God, that's why they don't show it from the angle. It's kind of like, I was like, I don't like it. It's like waggling his pole right in my face.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a really weird perspective. It really threw me, that did. However, the controls are really like hands off on that. You don't need to pull down. It does that automatically for you.
Yeah.
You just need to press the fire button when you get to the top and push up.
I couldn't get to the top because I couldn't get enough speed.
Yeah, I managed to get the speed up, and then he automatically does it. I went over a couple of times. So I managed to get over the very lowest, 16 whatever meters, whatever it was. But as soon as you went any higher than that, it's not. You're never going to win anything with that. And as soon as I tried to put it higher, I'm like, no. I don't know how fast you have to go to get over that top end of that. And I don't think it's possible. And then finally, the archery. That was the one I liked the most. It was the one that was straight and easy to play. And for a reason that these games work when they do. You don't need to complicated controls. You can read how to do it fairly logically, but just straightforward. See what I'm doing. Move this. That does that. Move my position for my target. Press the button. Check the windsock to make sure I've got and adjust for it accordingly. Done. I really enjoyed that. I quite enjoyed it. I played the archery more than any of the other events. The closing ceremony is meh. Everything else unforgettable. 2 half reasonable events out of a whole sea of them. Graphics are good, but the game design and the controls are not, and it's not consistent. It doesn't even feel consistent. Feels really off. And why are they doing another Summer Games anyway? Why not, pick completely different events that you've never done before?
Well, it's obviously just a time with the Olympics, isn't it? So
yeah, I get it, but they've already done it. It's like, just do something else.
Yeah.
Do it. I know you've done California Games, but there are other events in the Olympics. They add new events every year. There could have been all sorts in there. Boxing. There could have been stunts on BMXs. There could have been skateboarding was in there at a certain point. There's loads and loads of curling. I suppose, but maybe that's more Winter Games. But there's loads and loads of Olympic events, they didn't have to redo cycling and diving and some of the ones we've seen before. So, because if you're going to redo them, you're going to be compared to them, and they're not as good. So, anyway, 49%. It's actually more than I would have given it for two events out of all of that.
Yeah,
but I suppose it's got some nice graphics and touches. So, but what a tragic end to their ultimately, Olympic run of games has come to a tragic end with them. But they got it right first time, so they were always on the back foot. So, no, not the best one of the lot, really, is it? In fact, probably one of the worst. So, tragedy.
Definitely. Yeah. So Game Summer Edition. No.
Aye.
There we go. Got one more game. Let's move on to that. And Graham, it's time to tell us all about your Purple Heart.
Your Purple Heart. This is from CRL. Yes, it sent a shiver down my spine as well.
There's a tremor in the force, like a million people cried out at once, and suddenly silence.
I fear something terrible has happened.
Yoda!
Yoda. CRL released a game. They have indeed. Producer was MCT. You know what that means. Coded by Michael Twig. Graphics by Cameron Twig. Music by Jay Derrett. It's made by the Twigs.
Good old Twigs.
Okay.
Twiggy.
Good old Twigs. Twiggies. It's made by Twiggy. I wonder if he must have got sick of that joke.
Probably.
It's pretty like just start there twitching. The mission here: infiltrate enemy lines throughout 6 unique landscapes, destroy the enemy and those engaged in military activities, avoid all enemy vehicles and aircraft, collect the weapons dispatched in various locations and use them to your full advantage. Use strategy and victory will be yours. Good luck and give them hell. In short, kill everything.
Yep.
So there are 2 players in this. They're 2 mercenaries. They have names. This is Striker and Cobra. Striker is ex-combat school I should do it with he's a qualified combat school commando, qualified in Special Forces, Vietnam, 63-64 Green Beret. And then there's Cobra. He's a martial artist with a nice side. He's a beach person and a night person.
And he wants to see some of his things hanging there.
It's Cobra is a martial artist, ex-SAS Airborne Ranger, Vietnam man, 62 to 67, long tour. And in the Falklands War, okay? He was an SAS Airborne Ranger. So he's in the SAS Airborne Ranger. Isn't that Australia? And it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
It's an elite team. And you've got to take this elite team and kill everything. So that's the game. It's a 2-player co-op commando Rambo clone. Carambo. It's Carambo. So it's Carambo. So you can play this 1-player or an sort of average playing 1-player, 2-player co-op. I suppose if you like 2-player co-op's quite good. You can join that at any point as well by pressing the space bar, which is nice. Yeah. So if your mate comes in, he's just come in to see, just like whack the space bar and you're in. No matter where you are, 2-player, yay! So it's not terrible, this. The price is terrible, 10 quid. But,
yeah.
It's not terrible. There are things that I liked. The sprites all do look the part for something like this. So the backgrounds are all suitably military and there's a nice array of weapons to pick up. I think you've got, a flamethrower, a machine gun, a shotgun and a rocket launcher. I mean, all the favourites, all the family favourites there.
Yeah. The hierarchy is all there. Yeah.
It's all there. So it all moves okay. There's nothing bad about that. There's no real bugs that what bugs can there be, There's sprites running around the screen. They've got nice little death animation as well when you shoot them. It's commando-y, so the enemies come running at you in commando style, Carambo style, and you just have to shoot everything and kill everyone and just keep moving on and killing and moving on. And if you get shot, you die, and if you lose all your lives, you're dead. And then you start again, and so it goes on. It's that kind of game. It's not a great deal. It's not like this strategy or anything. It's just it's a real sort of almost a callback to an arcade type. So it is basically Commando, really. But even in the 2-player, I thought it's likable, just a bit rote. I mean, this kind of game's been around for ages since Commando, isn't it, in the arcade? So it's not. There's quite a few of this now. I thought the graphics were big and bold for the title screen. Okay, that was nice, and the etc. The sort of loading screen was pretty good as well. Its own kind of crazy, majorly colourful way. They're both gritted teeth, angry looking, and it's very Predator influence that I think. And I'm not sure palm trees really look like that, but all right, it's just stylized. There's simple options in the game, isn't there? 1-player or 2.
That's it. That's all you need.
That's your option. That's all you need. What more do you need? Decent music in it. I thought the music from Jay Derrett's not bad at all. The main game window was the player info at the bottom with your lives and your score, etc. Your little window into the player. Above that's the main game window, all in that glorious medium res colour scheme that we've come to know and love for these sort of things. It's okay. It's very Rambo-like, to say the least. or Commando-like, with some okay graphics here and there. Some of the graphics aren't as good. None of it's terrible, but some parts of there's parts where they drew some quite nice details, and then when it came to the barrels, they were like, just what's a barrel? It's just a barrel, just draw a barrel. So some of the graphics seem to have a bit less thought in them, and the positioning of them is as you'd expect. So however you ever encounter these things, if you've ever watched any of the Commando movies or the Rambo movies or anything like that, this is exactly how it seems that the American film-based military in these films, that's exactly how the enemy always lay out their bases, in sort of scattershot style with little mud huts and things like that. These are trained military professionals, but never mind that. They're just build mud huts and have little bases and store things in mud huts and motorbikes and things. It is what it is. None of it's terrible. I think that's the thing. That's the real takeaway from this. I enjoyed a real good blast on this, I have to say. It'd been a while since I'd had a blast on a Carambo type thing, and a good one that I'd enjoyed. Not since Fernandez Must Die, and I quite enjoyed that, and it reminded me a bit of that. So I thought, it's not as well thought out as that, but it's just mindless, stupid, crazy. But it suited what I needed, a bit of mindless, stupid, crazy. I imagine 2-player might be good for good fun for an afternoon. My only, I suppose, stick in the mud is it's very samey, so there's not a lot to it. It is just 6 levels of the same thing over and over again. I don't know how much joy you're going to get out of that. And the price tag is high for what it is. At £10, this is a lot of money for what is essentially something that probably should be $2.99, really. I don't think CRL should have released this on their budget label, whatever that was. But it was all right. It got 58%. It is just a dead average shooter. There's nothing great about it, nothing fancy about it, so 58% is about right. I think it probably is too expensive, though. What did you think?
Yeah, probably about the same. It's Carry Warriors, isn't it? Carry Warriors, Commando,
it's not particularly
Rambo.
Offensive, is it?
It's all right. I thought the music's good when you first hear it, and then when you hear it the third or fourth or fifth time,
over time,
because it's not particularly very long, and it's also quite
short.
But the weird thing is about the music as well is it's quite melancholy. It's got a bit of it's a weird sort of tone to it.
Yeah, so is Rambo though. The music in the Rambo.
Yeah, it is. But also as well, this just plays over everything.
I think don't you only get a Purple Heart if you die as well? It's not a medley given to the people
quite
dying.
Possibly, I don't know. But the music just constantly plays. There's no sound effect on it. Was there any sound effects?
No.
I don't think there was there?
I don't remember any.
No, I don't. It's just that music over and over and over again. Which I like some sound effects a bit. Visuals are decent enough, but I think, like you said, it just feels a bit pedestrian. Maybe it could have been a bit quicker to scroll and move. I quite like the fact you had to sort of go left and right, although you had to get to a certain point and then it would say go right or something, and you run along. Yeah, I like some of the backgrounds, some of the areas you pass through. I will say, though, that the enemy soldiers toss around grenades like confetti.
Yeah, they did have a lot of them to throw around.
It's like Rick Taylor in Amazon Women.
La-dee-da.
Yes, hey, grenades everywhere, grenades. They even throw them at themselves. They just don't even bother throwing them at you. They just throw them above themselves and run into them. Grenades.
They're mindless, but they're cannon fodder, aren't they?
Really it's made me laugh. It's okay. I think the thing is, though, we've had Ikari Warriors, and more importantly, we've had Fernandez Must Die recently. And I think both of those, kick this into a cocked hat, really. I think they're both much better games. I know the Commando was what it was and Rambo were a bit hold, but we've had 2 very good games of this ilk doing different things. And, Ikari Warriors is a really good conversion, and Fernandez Must Die was really quite interesting for lots of reasons what it was doing. And again, could be played 2 players. Both those were 2 players. And so I think in comparison, if this had been $2.99 or $1.99, I think you would have been a lot more lenient with this. But for £10, you're going up against those, it does look a bit. It felt budget, didn't it? It felt budget, but £10. And I know, it's 2023, and why are we worrying about £10? But we're reviewing it as it was back then, and we're playing these games through. And I think in comparison to those 2 games, it lacks quite a lot. It's okay. It's harmless fun, and I think probably in 2 players, because these games are okay fun. If you're playing with them, we'd have probably we'd have sat there, put this on, we'd have had a bit of a laugh, and probably played it a couple of times and probably never gone back to it, but it's just what it is. I've never heard of it, though. It did make me laugh, though, because I was looking at the screenshots and the sort of gallery pictures of them. It's basically Arnie and Billy with brown hair, isn't it, from Predator? So I also like the fact that Cobra was in the Falklands War. What was he doing there?
What are you doing there?
What is he doing there? Yeah.
Cobra.
Considering that Stryker was in Vietnam from 1963 to 64, Cobra was in the Falklands War. That's quite a big gap between them. That's like 20 years different.
20 years later,
yeah. He was in Vietnam 62 to 67 as well, Cobra.
Yeah, so he would have been 30s, 40s. Quite long to be old to be in the military. Especially, I don't know. I don't know much about it.
These two are.
I don't want to risk offending anyone. I don't offend anyone.
Yeah, I don't know. But his experience is combat school. That's not really experience. You should have done that anyway. And also experience is martial arts. That's not saying anything, is it? I could say I've got experience in martial arts, but I won't be very good. He was in the SAS as well. This is all over the place. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's Purple Heart. It's all right. There we go. That's it. That's the 7 games for this week. What have we looked at? We looked at Bombuzal, which we really liked. We thought was very good. We looked at Power Pyramids, which we did not like, with its overcomplicated story of pyramids in space being transported by a DHL driver or whatever. We looked at Scorpion. Which one was Scorpion? Oh, that was the Automan turning one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Which was confusing and not particularly very good. We looked at Pulse Warrior, the head crab game, which we thought was all right, which is quite good. The Race Against Time, which was out of time and late, ironically. The Game Summer Edition, which was a huge disappointment, what it is, and Purple Heart, which was an okay thing to end on, I think. Which was a nice little sort of thing just to sort of cleanse our palate at the end there. And it was all right, a nice little blaster there, and that's it. What have we got coming up next week, Graham? Well, we've got something called Slayer.
Okay. Sounds heavy.
We've got Hopper Copper, which I got the percentage wrong because they didn't actually put the percentage rating in the magazine. They forgot to put it in, so I got the last ability. The actual rating for that is 30%, so not much higher.
No.
Hopper Copper, we've got the Pepsi Challenge Mad Mix game. Can't wait to try that one. Partial credit. Captain Blood, that'll be interesting. That's the Amiga D port, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the one that famously had the Zulux and soundtrack on the Amiga.
Yeah.
And also one that we blatantly nicked some of the graphics off for the S Express demo Cyanide 2.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you did, yeah. Space Prawn, yeah.
Yeah. We've got Street Gang, whatever that is, Overlander, and Sidroid.
Okay. Remember Overlander being quite interesting.
Who knows? I can't remember. I cannot remember, apart from Captain Blood, I cannot remember a single one of those, so they'll be interesting to see how any of those turn out. And that's it. Also, we'll be looking at music. We've got Mr. Brown Sauce on for the next couple of weeks, haven't we?
We have.
I'm just letting people know so that they can prepare themselves.
Brown Sauce cometh. I never want to say that again.
It's making me think of Gary running at you like that pole vault.
Oh, God. Sweating.
Wagon left to right,
get away, put that thing away. Just batting it away. Get away.
No, that's nightmare fuel, brown sauce fuel. Yeah, so we've got Gary coming on to talk to us. He's going to help us through the Christmas singles, and after that, he's going to do the Christmas albums as well for the following week. So, like I said, strap in and prepare yourself for that. If you wish to support us, you can do that. You can do that by going to our Patreon, and that is patreon.com/zapped to the past. That would be cool for the price of less than a pint of beer these days, clearly. You can sign up for that and get access to our Discord server, get the episodes early and without adverts. You can ask us questions. You can join in on stuff, get a shout out each month when we sort of remember to do them, and things like that. So it's all good. If you want to come and join us, that would be cool and excellent. And that's about it. That's all I'm going to say. It's been I think this month's going to be shorter episodes. It is what it is. We're not doing the big 3-hour things, but it is. We've still got 28 games to get through for December.
We have.
Which is a lot of games. And then we'll be done for the year. Can't believe it. Can't believe 1988's done.
I know. Done. Crazy. And we blasted through 100,000 downloads.
Oh, yeah. We did that
episode.
As well. We did. Do you want to say thank you to our listeners?
Yes, thank you. More than 100,000 thank you to the amazing listeners, downloaders, people who've participate. Of course, our amazing Patreons. You helped us push through that 100k barrier. And that is something that we're incredibly proud of. And we're very humbled by everyone who listens, downloads, and enjoys our podcast. It's why we do what we do, and we shall continue to do what we do while we've got air in our lungs and games to play and joysticks we can waggle. That's what we'll do. So just want to say thank you kindly from me.
Aye. And I'll just, he said it for me. I'll say thank you as well. It's always cool. It was nice. It was good. And we'll just keep on doing what we're doing and keep on playing these games so you don't have to, and so on and so forth.
Well, my competition pros still got some doink in those micro switches. I'm going to be playing them.
I don't want to know about your competition pros doink.
No one does. It actually broke. My joystick broke. I had to repair it. So.
Oh no! What happened?
No, I pulled the stick out. I don't know how. I just did. It was during not winter, but during the Summer Olympia, summer.
The Game Summer Edition.
Game Summer, yeah.
Oh no, that's your big man hands.
It is. I was just playing the cycling, did it, waggled up and down, and then the bobble broke off. It just sort of the whole stick came off in my hands. So I was like, oh no. So I had to dismantle it, find my screwdrivers, dismantle it and reassemble. Reassemble. It worked though. Worked fine. It was just the screw had come loose.
Well, these things do happen. Oh, I do wish to say as well, thanks to Steve on the Retro Asylum podcast. He gave us a shout out a few weeks ago in the 300th episode. So thanks for that. That was cool. He did.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's always very nice when we get these little shout outs and stuff. It's always warms the cockles of our heart.
I'm always listening to their podcast as well. It's dead good. So
yeah,
go and listen to it. It's really good.
It was your, well, it was supposed to be your 300th episode. One of it turned into 302. I don't know. You do, you guys, whatever. But it was good fun anyway. And thank you very much for that. It's always
amazing.
Nice to get those kind of things. I think on that note, we should finish. Unless you've got anything else you wish to add.
No, I think we've thanked everybody we can thank. We've now got to escape while we have still got our lives and escape the greedy little green mitts of Yoda.
Oi.
Oi.
Run away, you won't.
Oi, Skywalker, no.
Get that X-Wing out of here.
I bloody told you.
Oh, dear. Anyway, right. As ever, I have been Adrian Mills.
And I have been Graham Raddings.
And you have been listening to Empire Yoda's Back. Or some such nonsense. And we will see you again next week. So, goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Zapped to the Past podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of Commodore 64 games, as well as the music, films and TV from around the 1980s, driven, of course, by the issue of Zapped 64 magazine published at that time. We will return with a whole new batch of games and stuff to talk about next week. Until then, if you want to listen to or download previous episodes of Zapped to the Past, and why wouldn't you, they can all be found on our website at zappedtothepast.com, as well as being available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, Audible, Player FM, and, well, pretty much anywhere where we can upload them. By the way, we do always love to hear from our amazing listeners, so if you'd like to contact us about anything in the podcast or beyond, you can do so by emailing us at zappedtothepast@gmail.com. We're also active on Twitter under @ZapTother, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and most social media platforms. Just search for Zapped to the Past and you'll find us. Oh, and if you like the podcast and what we're doing, please do like, share, review, rate us. It really helps. Something, apparently. The Zapped to the Past podcast is written and produced by Adrian Mills and Graham Raddings, and recorded at Flaky Bits 2.0 Studio. All opinions expressed are those of the writers, and while we indeed love Zapped 64 magazine, the Zapped to the Past podcast is not affiliated with it in any way. Stay safe, see you next time, and remember, we play these games so you don't have to.